Hey guys, hope you can, let's see, make sure everything is adjusted here. Looks like we are live, perhaps. See, we got two people in here, so we'll give it a little bit. Anybody there? Check. Check, check, check. What's going on? Hello. Anybody there? Hello? Hey, Joe, how are you? Let me know if this volume's too loud. Still getting used to everything. Wonder if anybody else is coming. Holy cow. I might be too late. Was it 8:30 here, 9:30 Eastern? Oh, there's a few people popped in. Guys, we're just giving it a few more minutes, let some people get in here. I was actually on time for once. And yeah. It doesn't look like that camera's focusing. I don't know. Anyhow. So, pretty interesting week. How you doing there, number one Big Bear? A bunch of people dropping in. Got 8 people in here now. It's getting there. Only 7:30. You must be out east. For you guys that are here, I'm just giving it another minute or two. Let a few people pop in. And we'll get rolling here. Yeah, the only reason the tree's still up is we actually didn't even have our normal tree. We usually, and that's usually upstairs, but just finished this basement and my gun room. And so they put a fake tree up down here, and we were going out of town for Christmas for the first time in 30 years anyways. So it's up, and yeah, my wife doesn't venture down here too often, so it might be up till she decides to come down and see what I've done down here. Anyhow, we got a few people in here, so what the heck, we'll get going, and it's nothing they can't jump in on. So if you guys saw the title, why is this thing not focusing? Sorry, guys. It's just annoying me. I don't know why it's like that. Anyhow, if you guys saw the title, Coffee and Kalashnikovs, it's kind of a term I coined early on, and it came from, while I was finishing this basement here, I finished my gun room, and I did kind of a whole vault kind of setup. And when I did that, I put in basically a steel vault door and the whole 9 yards, coded lock, deadbolts, and can even lock it from the inside like a safe room if need be. Got cameras on it, the whole 9 yards. And I didn't spend a ton of money on it because I did most of the work myself, but it came out kind of nice. And I had a couch. I didn't want to spend a lot of money on furnishings and stuff like that, but I had a couch that my mother-in-law had just bought before she died, and it was very expensive. I guess you'd call it a love seat. And it was like blood red. And I don't know who buys blood red sofas other than my mother-in-law, and actually when you saw it, it looked good, and how she decorated it. It was professionally done. It looked really nice. But anyhow, nobody wanted it. It was brand new. I took it and put it in the gun room. And every time I look at it, it reminds me of just that commie red, So I had a rifle laying on there on the couch one day while I'm getting stuff out of the safe. And I look at it's the picture on my YouTube site with the Chinese side folder. And I took a picture of it, and I thought, I'd been, at that point, I don't even think I was doing the YouTube channel. And I thought one day I'll do that. And I love drinking coffee. And I thought coffee and Kalashnikovs, it just popped in my head. And I'm like, that's hilarious. So I locked down the websites and the YouTube names and emails and all that stuff, thinking I'd use it one day. And well, I guess I am right now. But excuse me. It just became this thing, and I always thought I'd do a little talk thing with just that, coffee and Kalashnikovs, where we just sit back, talk about AKs. Well, there's not too more fun than AKs. Sorry, guys, if I sound preoccupied. I'm trying to fix this camera while I'm talking to you guys. See if I can. So anyhow, just became one of those things, and I thought I'd have a weekly show where we'd talk about state of the AK and things like that. And for those of you that have been following me kind of from the beginning, this channel started off as an AK wanted to be, and I was kind of motivated by Rob Ski, actually. So no matter what you think of him, I just liked his channel. He was a unique personality, and I thought it was kind of cool. So anyhow, that's what came of it. And that's what tonight is. So I thought we'd talk about AKs and just kind of how I got into them and what the market looks like today, what's out there, what's good, what's bad. I don't know how many of you guys are into AKs. I know 2A EDU is big time, probably more than I am even. But they're easy to get addicted to. So many out there. And even if, let's say, you choose one country, there's so many, and you feel like you got to grab them all. I mean, I would love to be one of those guys that you get one AK and it's the one you got, and you shoot and you love it, and that's your one representation. I can't do that. It's like an OCD thing I have with sets or something. If there's versions, a side folder, an under folder, a fixed stock, I got to have them all. And then it can even get crazier than that. I could go, I need this year and that year and this version and that version. But so over the years, it's progressed, and it's kind of out of control. But hey, what the hell? Let's see. Joe, you're in a low tech, no windows, and interior room doubles as safe room. It's a spare bathroom. Hey, at least you got the bathroom in there. I wish I had that. I didn't think of that one. But so my AK thing started out with, like everybody else, I guess. I'm trying to think. No. It almost started out like everybody else's. It almost started out with a Wasser. I was at a local gun shop, and this goes back, about 15 years ago. So early 2000s, let's say, something like that. When Mosins were cheap. Mosins were like $69 I was buying them for back then. And that's actually how I got back into guns. I had always been into guns, but you take a little hiatus, you do other things. I was doing the Harley thing big time, and racing motocross and motorcycles, and my kids were racing and all that. That's what my family does. We race motorcycles. But so I got in with the Mosins and all that. And I stopped at a local shop one day, and they got all these AKs boxed up and laying there open, for sale. And they got Wassers. I didn't know what a Wasser was at the time, but they got Wassers, and they got what I come to find out would be an underfolder. And I'm looking at it, and I look at the Wasser. And back then, for you guys that have just got into it lately, Wassers were made of surplus parts. Some were surplus parts. Some were demilled rifles, and they reused the parts along with some new parts, of course, new barrels, stuff like that, and fire control group, all that kind of stuff. So I'm looking at this Wasser, and I didn't know shit from Shinola, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, this is a used gun, because the wood's all beat up. And back then, too, the Romanians just parkerized the things. And the parts I'm sure, before they built them, were in a bin getting all scuffed up. And so you pick up this gun out of the box, and the wood's all scuffed up, and the metal has got scuffs in it. And it's true, the sights could be canted. There could be a lot worse than that, too, because Century was opening up the mag wells, and they could be loose, they could be tight. You never knew what was what. So I looked at it, I thought, that's got to be a used gun. And I was kind of like too embarrassed to ask, so I just, whatever. And I saw this underfolder sitting there. And I was like, that is the coolest thing I've seen in a long time. And what it was a Century M70 AB2. So for those of you that don't know, it's a classic Century, or a classic Zastava bulged trunnion underfolder. Okay. They were built then from parts kits, and Century put them together. Actually, the good news is Century didn't put them together. They subbed them out to a few different subcontractors that built them. And those subcontractors were very, very good. There are a few names. I'm not sure if Two Rivers did some, but there are a few other companies. And just beautiful guns. They were on Nodex Spud receivers, and they did a super nice job. They came with the typical Century plastic squared off grip instead of the surplus grip. They came with black polymer handguards and gas tube covers that were really squared off. And I think that's part of the reason I bought it. It just looked a little more tactical because of the black stuff. They had the grenade launchers, and if you got lucky, the night sights and all that. But they were essentially kit guns, and Century marketed them under their name. And I guess I got lucky because I picked it. My wife bought it for me for Valentine's Day. And it was a whopping, I don't want to lie to you guys, I'm pretty damn sure it was $3.99, maybe $4.99. I remember it was $100 more than the Wassers, and the Wassers were $2.99, and that was $3.99. So anyways, and you got a couple mags with it, and back then usually you'd get lucky, you got the Yugo bolt hold open mags. And I took it home and loved it. The mags fit well. They ran perfectly, flawlessly. Mine had the night sights, although the vials were dead. And just a fabulous gun. And I just thought it was so damn cool. And so, I got the bug there, and I go back to the same shop, and what the hell? That's what they got. So I buy a Wasser. And I picked mine because the wood was the nicest of what they had, which was terrible. But I got that one. It was all scuffed up. And something always just struck me as wrong with it. While it shot fine, it feeds everything. It never jams. It just runs and runs and runs. It sounds so tinny and shitty compared to the Yugo, because the Yugo's got the bulged trunnions, the thicker receiver, heavier barrel. This thing sounds like a bolt. But something just didn't seem right about it. And I do the old lay it on the counter thing, like on the mag. So I got a level surface and look at the sights. And of course, they're off. I'm not OCD, but I swear I have a touch of it, right? And it drove me nuts. And I knocked the pins out. I try straightening it, doing all kinds of stuff. And I had the rear sight block even between the ears, and I just couldn't get this thing right. It was driving me nuts. And then one day I'm measuring with these little metal squares, I don't know if they're drafting or carpenter squares, little ones. And I'm like, holy cow, this receiver is off. The receiver is actually, to this day, the receiver, if you're looking at it lengthwise, is like twisted. So how that happens is they'll rivet one trunnion in, and I got to remember how it happens. I think they rivet one side in, and then they rivet the other side in the rear or something, and it twists. It puts a twist in that receiver, and that's what's wrong with it. It doesn't bind the gas piston or anything. It doesn't rub abnormally on the gas tube. It doesn't anything. The gun runs great, but it throws off everything. So the stock has a little cant this way, the sight's a little cant that way, and it drives you nuts. It's the one I have a video out on it, the Wasser versus Vepper thing. And I've refinished it. I did the wood in some shellac that I've got a couple kind of secrets I do that they're not secrets, but they're my method, I guess, of how I color my shellac and how I do it. And they're that deep commie reddish with a tinge of orange to it. And they're really beautiful. And it came with Romanian bulged handguards. A lot of those Wassers people thought were bulge handguards. They're not. There's a little bulge at the bottom of them because that's where Century took a table saw and zapped off the dong on all of them. Century ruined more dong handguards than anybody on this planet. They just sawed them off by the hundreds, maybe the thousands. And because they didn't think the dong was marketable back then. Nobody wanted it. And frankly, I didn't want it. I thought it was stupid. Why? Because it didn't look like an AK. And, up until then, you didn't have that many AKs in the country. Yeah, you had the Chinese before the ban and all that. And you had a few others that had come in, but the ban had sunsetted and things were going hot and heavy, and nobody wanted anything that had some silly looking wood thing hanging off the front of it. So Century just sawed them off. And I think back now to how many of those things and what guys are paying for them. Back then, you could get a dong handguard for you could get 5 for $5 or 5 for $10. I mean, they give away piles of them. Slings, 10 cents a piece. Hell, mags, you could get mags for 10 for $25, stuff like that. And that's, guys, I'm not doing this to rub it in and say, look at what these crazy prices are now, but it's just what it was. Back then, AKs were junk. If you had, before the ban, if you had bought a bunch of Norinco Chinese AKs, maybe a fixed stock, maybe an underfolder, whatever it was, other than maybe the Polytech, the Legend, but that they just weren't that popular either. Everybody thought they were junk, and everybody had an excuse. If you were looking at one, if you picked one up in a gun shop and you were looking at it and cycling the bolt and all, inevitably somebody would walk up behind you and say, "What are you looking at that cheap Chinese junk for? That ain't no rifle. Get yourself an AR, get yourself an FN," that kind of stuff. And God, those were good times being in the gun shop with my dad back then. I was a kid. And there was just everything. If you look at an old edition of Shotgun News, you'll see the ads were just unbelievable. And if you had a good gun shop in your area, it was like walking into Candyland. There was just so much stuff. But So, anyways, yeah, Century ruined a lot of dongs, but mine was not one of the ones cut off. When Century would cut them off, they'd sand them, but there'd always be a little hump there, and people would think, "Oh, those are the hand bulge Romanian handguards," which are kind of rare, um, but they weren't. So mine actually had one, and the top covers on the top gas tube covers on them were really light wood, like balsa wood. And I'm talking about the Romanian wood, not what Century put on it. They were just super light. They'd crack real easy, dried out. The stocks were good because they were laminated. So were the handguards. If you had the dong handguards, they were laminated. If they were the bulge, they were not. And mine was not. But yeah, twisted receiver, just always something off about it. So I never shot it much. I had that M70 and that's what I shot. And things progressed from there. Those were my two forever and ever. And I was collecting other stuff too. And then when I said I'm going to do this AK thing serious, good luck with that M70. I wanted more. And I started buying, I'd search them out because you couldn't find them new anymore. I'd search them out, and if I'd find an M70, I'd buy it. And I think I got up to 4 or 5 of them at one point. Why I was doing those, I don't know. But I found one on Gunbroker, and the guy wasn't too far, and I said, I'll come pick it up. Well, I had bid on this thing kind of quick, and I got it cheap, and boom, I go to pick it up. I'm like, what's wrong with this thing? Something's different. And I look, and it's a Century M70 AB2, but there's a T after it. I got a video on it, Story of the T. And it's essentially a Zastava military rifle, but no bulge trunnions and thinner receiver. So it's essentially like the military version of the NPAP, the original NPAPs, right? So I'll give you guys a little quick story on that, and then I'll check in on these comments here. But so when the M70s came out, the Yugoslavian M70s, Yugos have always been enthralled with launching grenades, right? They want their soldiers, all of them, the ability to launch grenades. So the original M70s came out, they were milled receivers. And I don't want to say the model number because 2AEDU will yell at me because he knows all those and I don't. He's got a memory much better than I do, and he has one. It's the one hanging behind him if you watch his channel. Those were the first ones that came out. And then due to cost savings and weight and whatever, probably cost savings, they switched over to a stamped receiver. And that first stamped receiver was the non-bulge trunnion 1 millimeter receiver. Well, they started launching grenades with those, and the receivers started cracking. It was a very short time period. There were very few of them made, and they quickly jumped into the bulge trunnion guns with the 1.5 millimeter receivers, thicker barrels, all that good stuff. And you have what we all know today is the normal M70, just like the ZPAPs are today. So I show up at the gun shop, and it's this straight one, and I'm like, oh, how did I miss this? I kind of knew of them, about them and stuff, but I didn't want one. And so I started researching, and that's when I read about the T, or they didn't call it the T. The Yugos had their own numbers for them, but Century put that moniker. And so I read about it and watched videos about it. Misha, if you ever go to Mishako, great channel, phenomenal. I like him better than who's the other guy, the long-haired guy with the history channel, basically, of guns. I like Misha better. He's the blind guy. Awesome dude. I've never spoken to him personally. I bought a couple things from him, but just I like the way he tells stories, and I like how he does things. He just seems like a straight-up guy, and he's got a video on it, and that's where I got most of my information on it. So it's not that I'm a genius. I'm just re-spouting the information I got from him. Anyhow, Yeah, so I had 3, and from there we'll get back to it. Let's check in on the comments here and see what's going on. I'm going to back up a little bit. Joe, man, you are the type master. Holy cow. At least I got a guy like you, or the comments would be empty. Let's see who's in here. Michael Wendenen, glad to see your tree's still up. Yeah, it's up. Iron Horseman, what's going on? Who else is here? Over the hills and far away. Love the AK. Didn't think I would like it, but since Beto said I can't have one, right? It's like a little kid when they say you can't have one, that's what you want. Yeah. That, man, is there any news clip or video clip that just, God, man, unbelievable. Yep. Come take it, right? Lots of luck, pal. Who else is in here? Sorry. The ozone layer hates me. My Sega 12 had a bent barrel that no one else could see, only me, and it drove you nuts, right? You think when you look at it, you're going, you try to talk yourself out of it. You try to say, nah, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just got to be me. And you set it down, and the next time you grab it and shoot it, you're like, oh, yeah, it's fine. And then 10 minutes later, you're like, no, there it is again, and you can't figure it out. It's just something. It's something with the way they're laid out that they can be optical illusion when you look at them due to certain things, and it drives you nuts. Sorry, you're addicted to purchasing furniture. I can't look at old ads anymore. It's too depressing, right? Oh, Lord. My dad used to bring home Shotgun News, and it was just like that. It was newspaper print paper, and back then it was like that thick. Now, if you pick up a copy, I don't even know if they're still printing them. I think the last time I saw one was 4 or 5 years ago. They're that thin. They're smaller. There's nothing to them. I think they probably started out as kind of a weekly kind of a sale flyer for FFLs, right? And you could order as a non-FFL out of there, but or have your dealer order out of there, but a lot would only sell to dealers. It was kind of a cool place for average guys to go in and just see what's out there and who's got it. And there were places that are still in business now, like J&G Sales, Our Guns. Our Guns is actually in Illinois. The hell town is that? Carpentersville. Never been there, but I've driven past it when I lived down there, and they were huge, right? So J&G Sales, Our Guns, Classic Firearms, I think may have been in there. There were Sarco. Anybody remember Sarco? SARCO. God, you could buy crates, full-on crates of SKSs in the crate. Yugos, Chinese, you name it. And I remember crates being, I want to say, I might be lying, but I want to say a crate, and I think there were 8 in a crate, maybe 10. I think 8 though, and I think they were like $3.99 or something, or $5.99. It was ridiculous. It was definitely under $1,000, and they were in the racks, in the crates with all the stuff, the oil bottles, the slings, all of that crap, and unbelievable how cheap stuff was. And the ads would be every variant under the sun. You'd see one guy advertising Romanian AKs, and you'd have fixed stocks, you'd have underfolders, you'd have side folders with the wire stock. Back then when the original AES 10Bs came out, the RPKs, they'd have those in there, and the paratrooper model of them, and on and on and on. Every version under the sun, barrel links, and you couldn't, if you didn't, you were just getting into it. So you're like, oh, what's that one? And what's that one? And there's one with the dong, there's one without. And you're trying to figure out the differences. And then there were 5.45 guns, the SARS, and all of that. It was just this monstrous conglomeration of anything you wanted to buy, all in this one magazine. And man, you'd page through it and just dream about what you were going to get next. It was really cool. Let's see, $10 a dong. Yeah. No, it was $10 for 10 dongs. It was, that's a lot of dong. That's a lot of dome. Anyhow, yeah, things were just cheap. You'd go to gun shows and there'd be barrels of mag pouches, 50 cents a piece. I remember here, you guys have seen my side folder, Norinco, my Bakelite side folder. That's one of the rarest AKs ever to come into the country. Not very many of them. And back in the day, they were kind of looked at as white elephants. Like, who in the hell wants that crap? You know, Bakelite was antiquated plastic that didn't work, right? It would dry up, it would crack, it would this, it would that. And everybody looked at it as so if Chinese AKs were junk to most people and they were only good for preppers and stuff like that, then the average guy really looked at the Bakelite one and went, that's total garbage, right? So who buys one but my dad? I was with him and his partner, his police partner, and we walked in a gun shop, and I remember they were in uniform, and they had picked me up after work to go to dinner, and I was a kid, high school, and we walk in, and they got these things, and they each bought a matching one, and they came with 3 mags. I think they were steel mags, a bayonet, oil bottle, and a sling, and the leather sling holders, keepers, whatever. I think that's all that was in the box. Anyways, they both bought them, and my dad had this pile of rifles when I was a kid, all piled up in the corner of my room because we didn't have a gun safe back then. He was a cop, and that's just where they got stored, put away, so my mother wouldn't see the pile growing and yell at him. So that thing sat there, and I never thought much of it. I was way more interested in the ARs and the Uzis and the MAC-10s and all this crap he had, right? And that thing was like nothing. Last thing I ever thought of. But when he bought that thing, when he bought that rifle, it was $299, and you got a free crate. It was in the wooden crate. I still have the crate. It's unopened. And it's yellow box Norinco, copper washed ammo. You got a free 1,000. It's more than 1,000 rounds, I think. I think it's like 1,200 or 1,180 or something. Crate of yellow box Norinco ammo, free with the rifle for $299. Right now, that rifle goes for what? I see them 4,500, somewhere in there. Very, very rare gun. It is cool. Now that I appreciate them, I knew my dad had it, and the more I got into collecting them, and the more I started seeing the prices, and I didn't have any Chinese, and Chinese weren't available anymore, I'm thinking, man, that rifle. And then I start to see how rare they are, and I was visiting him one day, and he knew I was into these AKs, and I think he kind of planned it. I got up there, and I said, hey, Dad, can we take a look at that AK? And yeah, we'd go down the safe, we pull it out, and I'm looking at it, and I had never known that the tool kit clips into that stock. You hit a little button and it springs out. It's like hidden in there. And so I wanted to check, see if it was still there. Sure enough, it was still there. Now, in all these years, he got that gun in the 80s, early 80s, maybe late 70s even, but early 80s. And so what, 80, 90, 2000, 40 years we've had that gun. In the 40 years of him owning it, it may have had a mag put through it. Maybe yeah, a mag. That's it. And just never got shot. So I was, fawning over the rifle and this and that. I handed it back to him and put it in the safe. And I just always thought, well, it's really cool. It's there, and one day it'll be mine and whatever. Well, then he starts talking. I'm so into AKs. He says that he'd like me to put one together for him, And by put one together, he wanted an underfolder. He wanted an M70 because he wanted a thicker receiver and all. But he wanted it with an AR stock. So I did a conversion with getting rid of the underfolder and put an M4 conversion kit on it. and it came out really nice. Actually, the thing works really well, and I put that all together for him, muzzle brake, ALG trigger, the whole 9 yards, and brought it up to him and handed it to him. I said, "What do you think?" And he cycled it a few times, put it up to his shoulder, and he said, "I love it." And then he reached behind the chair and handed me the Chinese one. He said, "Here, for your troubles." And I said, "Dad, I can't take that for that." He says, "No, you like these things. I haven't shot it in 40 years. It's yours." So that's how I got it. It's been in the family since brand new. I have everything it came with. I added Bakelite mags, and the only thing I'm missing is the original box. There are a bunch of boxes around from the stuff he bought back then, pre-ban, but I have not come across that box for it yet. Maybe one day I will. But I have everything but that one. And it's mint. It's mint. I've put, a few mags through it. I shoot it some, not a ton, maybe once, twice a year at best. But I'm going to start shooting it more. It's, it's collectible. Sure. Is it mint? Yeah, sure. Is it brand new in box? No, I don't have the box. Is it what you would call mint in box or mint without box? Yeah, it is. But I'm never going to sell it anyway, so who cares? I'm going to shoot it some more and enjoy it. I will say this, it recoils more than a lot of other AKs. And that may be the stock a little bit, but it's smooth, it's nice, it's well built. The bluing's nice. While the bluing is thin on those Chinese guns, it's very blue and it's highly polished compared to what we're used to seeing, mostly Parkerized finishes and stuff. Just very nicely done, but easily scratched and very thin. But pretty gun, especially with the Bakelite. So let's look in here at the chat. I'm seeing 7.62 by 39 for 48 to 50 or more cents per round, if it's even in stock at all. Yeah. I did a video on how to find ammo. God, I can't breathe every time I come down to this basement. Up until, seems like I just put that video out, but it's probably been well over a month already. I kind of saw the way it was going, and I started everything I could. And as it thinned out, I started buying the other stuff that I normally wouldn't buy, and just bought. Twice a week. I spent a lot of money, but I got everything. I just felt it coming, and sure enough, bam, it hit, right? 223 was gone, and then 7.62 was still around online and stuff where I get it. And at the cheapest, I was buying 1,000 rounds of Golden Tiger for about $179 was about the cheapest ever. But it hovered between $179 to AK ammo was still cheap. And then it went up about $100. It was like $289, and I bought, I don't know, 4,000 or 5,000 more rounds. And then it was time to find 223, right? So I dug around. I got enough to where I was comfortable with that. And when I went back for more AK stuff, I started looking online again. Now it's $389. And yeah, it's getting up there. It's getting up there. I mean, the cheapest it's been over the last 10 years is probably, a year and a half ago. And whatever that equates to per round. Let me figure it out here real quick if I can pull my calculator up here. Because I want to say it was 27 cents, but yeah, 270. Yeah, it was cheaper than that. But always 27, 26, 24 cents a round was a great way you cut it. But I may be off. Was it down to 170, 180, 1,000, or am I thinking 280, 1,000? I don't remember. I'll have to look at some receipts. But yes, it is up there at 50 cents a round and better. The last stuff I bought was about 38 cents a round. And I can still find it probably in that area if I look a little bit. If you guys want, PM me or email me, and I'll give you a couple places online that I go through. I just don't want to throw it out there for everybody to contact me about it. Idea. Come on, you're kidding, right? The glasses, what gave it away? His hitting the table looking for the stuff. Yeah, he's blind. Legally blind since he was a kid. I think maybe even born that way. I don't remember the story now. I see ammo here for AK cheap. I did score AR ammo today in 9mm and 38 special. None was cheap. The only place you're finding cheap ammo now, guys, is if you go to the big box stores, the farm stores, the chain stores that don't mess with the price fluctuations. They don't gouge. They keep it the same. Even so, it's gone up 10, 20%. Just that's what the distributors are charging and the manufacturers, but it's still cheap. I bought some boxes of 9 the other day, $10, $10.99 a box, and some different loading hollow points for I think $14.99. I got 380 for $12.99, 2 boxes. I only have one 380, and a gentleman at work asked if I knew where I could find any. And I said, yep, you can find some from me. I sold him a nail on the head. That's it. That's probably the best spot. Even he's light right now. He's very light. I talk to him from time to time, and it's just as it comes in. So you got to watch, and it pops up, and it's gone as quick as it pops up. So he's probably the best there is on the internet. Different people have different outlooks on him, but he's a good guy. And good ammo, easy to deal with, fast shipping, all that good stuff. But as far as local, you got to look at those box stores, the Farm and Fleets, whatever you have by you that sells ammo, maybe Tractor Supply, something like that. What's the sporting goods stores? Oh, damn, like we have one here. Can't remember. Dunham's. Dunham's, they don't mark it up. I got there one night when the truck was there, and the guy was bringing it out by the crates, and we were just busting them open and grabbing what we wanted. Everything was, normal prices, still is. So if you can get that, that's where you'll find normal prices. Other than that, you will not find normal prices, period. Everybody's jacking it. If you look hard on Gun Broker, you can find AR ammo, not too bad. There's enough of it at auction that if you catch an auction right, maybe $4.99 1,000, which isn't, green tip was $4.99 and $5.99 usually, I think, or like 300, 280 for 400 and whatever rounds in the can, that kind of thing. Let's see what else here. Can you show the AK your dad gave you on the channel? I cannot show it on a live stream, unfortunately, but it is on the channel. It is the Chinese Norinco video. I think it says banned on there on the video, and I show it there. It's also at the top in the picture at the top of my YouTube channel. Getting back to that, I got Bakelite mags to match it. And weird how I got them. Guys, can you give me 10 seconds so I can talk and not sound like a nasal person here? I'll be right back. Hey, we're back. Hope you didn't have to hear the foghorn there. Anyhow, hey, it was faster than 2 AEDUs breaks, right? That was only 5 seconds. No connection. Nope, it's going. I flashed that we had no connection. So the mags, here's a funny story. Father's Day is coming up. I'm at a gun show. What am I going to get my dad? He had mentioned something about Bakelite mags. And I figured, okay, I'll get him some Bakelite mags. So I go to this gun show and they got Bakelite. I'm digging through a bin, and I pull out a couple Bakelites and I pick out the nicest one. And I asked the guy how much. And he says $10. And I said, sold, gave it to him. And gave it to my dad with the rest of his gift for Father's Day. And give it to him. He likes it. And he puts it in the gun and it sits in the safe for another how many ever years, right? So when he gives it to me, I remember the Bakelite mags. I said, Dad, you still got that mag? He's like, no, that was my Father's Day present. I said, yeah, I know, but I'm laughing. It was like a joke. He said, take it. So I'm looking at the mag. Now, I didn't know anything about AKs when I bought this mag. Nothing. Zero, nada. And I'm looking at the mag, and I look at the bottom, and there's a star and the triangle and the number 66. And I flip it over, and there's a star in Norinco. Don't you know, out of that whole bin of Bakelite mags, I picked the matching Triangle Plant 66 Norinco Bakelite mag for that gun. There were hundreds. Back then, Bakelite mags, $5-10. Like that's how much they were. And now I remember at $30, I said, they're nuts. I'm not paying $30. At $40, you're crazy. And then thinking, well, maybe I should buy them. No, they're nuts. Maybe I should buy them. No, they're nuts. And I didn't buy them. And then at 50, 60, 70, now they're $100. I mean, it's insane. I should have bought all I could at $30, But yeah, funny story. I picked the matching, which a Norinco is very, very rare. They go for about $200, $250 right now. And I picked it had to be the only one in there. Well, maybe it wasn't. Maybe there were more, but they're rare, very rare. Misha had one. I bought one from Misha a couple of years ago, and I bought that one, and I found one other, and the one I paid $10 for. The other two, I think I paid $150 from Misha, and the last one I paid $200 for. So I wanted enough for a complete mag pouch, and now I have the complete mag pouch of Bakelite rifle mags, and another mag pouch of Chinese flatback blued steel. So it's and I've got the chest rig and everything. It's really a neat little collection. It's cool. So that's how, that is a funny story how I got that. Funny how things turn out like that. Let's see. Enough of me blabbing. Can you show me the rifle? Yep, there's a video on it. I'll do another video. I'm going to shoot that and do another video. At the height of the Syrian war, some of the jihadis were paying $1 per round for 7.62. No kidding. Wow. You ever seen those videos about Khyber Pass and those towns in Pakistan where they make the rifles and all? There's one where they're reloading bullets, AK rounds, 7.62 by 39, and they're doing it in the street, and literally by hand, they're hammering in the primers, and you see them put the gunpowder in. They're making the bullets, and they come out looking like factory rounds. It's amazing, but they don't use no damn dyes and all this other stuff, and they cycle in the guns. I wonder how many blow up on them. They've probably been doing it long enough that it's amazing what they do sitting on a dirt floor, no shoes, a hand file, hammers, and they build clones of all these guns that are just incredible, absolutely incredible, the skill these guys have. Imagine if you gave them proper tools and workshop. Holy cow. But $1 a round. Yeah, they must have been running short during the Civil War, and could have made a lot of money back then, huh? Let's see. That's great. I got my dad a Taurus to use. It's an 856-38, so he can still load and unload it. Cool. That's awesome. Guys, that's the nice thing about our hobby, right? It usually gets passed to you from your dad or a grandfather, uncle, whatever, and you pass it on to yours, and it makes for a lot of good times, and a lot of good memories. I got most of my memories are about shooting with my dad. We shoot trap all over the country back then. I don't know if I talked in my last live stream about in high school going out and shooting for money 3 nights a week, and he'd have me out till all hours of the day and night. But yeah, we had a good time, and it's just cool. But I think back to those times and what was available pre-ban. Ingram Mac 10s were like everywhere, dime a dozen. Uzis, the nice ones. I forget who the importer was at that time. If you guys that know Uzis remember the blue box Uzis, they came in these blue boxes with gold writing. I think those were the best ones to come in. What else? FNFALs, just all kinds of stuff. You go to a gun show, and there'd be a guy would have a glass fishbowl on his table, and in the fishbowl it was filled with auto sears. Hey, I forget how much. I don't know how much they were, but being that they were in a fishbowl, I'd probably guess maybe they were $10 or something, $5. I don't know, but they'd sell them like that. Just take a handful. How many you want? And back then I didn't even know what they were. And then as I got older, my dad would talk about them. Do you remember the times when they used to sell this and sell that? And, talking about the good old days. I asked him one time, and I said, did you ever? He said, no, don't even ask. He never ever wanted any trouble, but it's just fun to reminisce on the stuff he used to see. Stuff's changed quite a bit, man. It's nuts. We were friends with an FFL back then. And we'd go, this guy had a lot of money, and he'd fly us to this range in northern Wisconsin. And we'd go shooting, and he was SOT, and he had an M60. And I remember shooting that, and we were shooting at a lawn, and you could make the lawnmower bounce in the air and see how long you could keep it off the ground, and different stuff, just fun stuff like that. The local cops showed up. We were shooting in a quarry, and neighbors must have called because of the full auto fire and stuff. And neighbors must have called, and the cops showed up, and they were at the top of the rim of the quarry, and you could see their squad, and they were kind of behind the squad, behind the car or behind a tree, and they were yelling down, "Hey guys, can we come down, talk to you for a minute?" Yeah, sure, come on down. We set them down, so they, we took a few steps back so they knew it was safe. And they came down and asked us questions and this and that. And John started that was his name, started to pull out the paperwork and stuff. And they, oh, no, we don't need any of that. We want to see what was going on. They were interested. So he says, hey, you want to shoot one? And oh man, after that day, they'd invite us up. They'd buy lunch. They'd say, let us know when you're coming. That was their excuse. Let us know when you're coming. So if the calls come into the station, we know it's you guys, So we went up there a couple more times and always had fun up there. But different day and time, man. There's just neat stuff back then. It's frankly a shame what's happened and how things have gotten eroded. I got to start making notes about these streams because I don't remember last time if I talked about, high school and walking into high school with your shotgun because you were going hunting with the hunting and fishing club after school. And, nobody thought anything of it. You put it and went to class, and after school you grabbed it and went with the teacher to go pheasant hunting. Different day and time. And you think, what's changed? Well, the guns haven't changed, right? It's just the people have. And it's a combination of them kind of being indoctrinated or, for lack of a better term, brainwashed because, you hear it enough times that guns are bad, guns are bad, guns are bad. What's the average person think? And, our rural areas are shrinking and our urban areas are growing, and the people in the urban areas don't have the ability to shoot like the people in the country, and they're not as exposed, and you don't have World War II veterans around anymore, and just different, and the left has, you start saying things enough times, and it starts to change public opinion. And then you throw in the shootings that happen and all that, and real quick, it goes away. It's a different atmosphere completely, and then we allow them to take, a little bit here, a little bit there, and man, that roller coaster picks up steam, doesn't it? And before you know it, you've got bans on this and bans on that, and it's crazy. It's crazy. And for the most part, you know what? I've never met a bad gun guy. Not out there. But I've never met a gun guy that wasn't, for the most part, an upstanding citizen. I never met a gun guy that was a criminal. I never met a gun guy that was even would think about going outside the law. I never met a gun guy that wasn't, just nice, friendly, neighborly, nice to kids, animals, and old people. How's that sound? It's just something ingrained in us, I guess. Somebody that wasn't trustworthy and wasn't whatever. But for the most part, that's how gun guys are. And when we get together, what do? We do this, right? We talk about the old times, the good times, the new stuff, what you got, what you shoot, what are you doing? Did you see this sale there? That kind of stuff. And the best friends I have in the world have been, even longtime friends. They're all friends I met through guns, either through clubs or through whatever. But they all are. And there's not one of them I wouldn't have trusted my kids to when they were little. Not one. And to this day, they'll bend over and do anything I want or need or whatever, and I'll do the same. So it's just it's a shame they're going the way it is. In case you guys haven't noticed, I kind of stayed away from the political stuff tonight a little bit. Not for any reason, not that I'm worried or anything like that. Just so sick of it, man. It's crazy, absolutely crazy. The storming of the Capitol. Where was I? I was getting a CT scan that day, and I was listening to Trump's speech in the waiting room, and they called me in. So I did my CT scan, and I left, and I got in the car, and I had to make a stop at a store, got out of the store, turned the radio back on, and I hear something, are storming the Capitol. And I thought, what? Did I hear that right? So I turned on, and sure enough, and I thought, oh my God. I called my wife. I said, honey, it's happening. Because you talk about it enough. And my wife's like, will you stop? That's all you talk about. And I said, see, it's finally happening. I'm not crazy. And I didn't know what was going on. It's not like some foreign force was invading, but I didn't know who it was, what it was, this and that. So I ran home, turned on the TV, and, I know they'd showed the rally earlier. And from what I was seeing on TV, everything seemed peaceful enough. And nothing, when I listened to Trump, where he said, we're going to go down to the Capitol and this and that. But I didn't think it was anything inflammatory. I had it, it was like the way he said was, in other words, it was like, hey, yeah, we're going to head down there and we'll see you guys down there. Like he was going to jump in his limo and he'd beat us. He'd beat these guys there, and they'd be there in a few minutes behind them or something. Like, hey, we'll see you down there. That's all I thought of it when he said it. I didn't think anything more or less or anything. And then it turns into all this craziness. I don't know. So if it didn't tweak my ears, or I didn't hear something in it, or went, "Ooh, that's a little," because I'm like that, guys. I'll catch it both ways. I don't think any of us are hyper Trump fans. No, we're lovers of the Constitution, lovers of our country, lovers of the founding fathers and the documents, and the way we want to live our lives as Americans. That's what we are. We are not, these indoctrinated, hail the chief. None of that. I don't think any of us are. Let's get back to the comments here. Breasthard. Hey, thanks for stopping in, Breasthard. I appreciate it. I'm surprised not as a lot of the other guys aren't here tonight. Am I up against somebody else with a stream, maybe? This is the first time I think I did on a Wednesday. This is the night I was planning on doing it. Let's see. I remember the blue box. I always wanted one, but I never had the money. Either did I. That was a kid. My dad was buying the stuff back then. And unfortunately, a lot of all that good stuff went away. He sold it off over the years. The Uzis are gone. The Macs are gone. I don't know what else there was. All kinds of stuff. But all of it's gone pretty much except an SKS or two, and the Chinese one I got. And he's got a real original Colt AR Sporter. But other than that, yeah. But there was so much. Oh, my God. I was poor, but we did our best to keep nice guns and what we could get. Yeah. Yeah. Used to work at GAT. I know GAT. Talk to you. So I used to work at GAT and talk to you. So, were you the guy that I talked to when I stopped in there that day? And you asked me, we were talking about Krebs or something. You worked at the rental counter or the ammo counter there? Are you the guy? Yeah. Oh, I should read more. Yeah, you're the guy. Okay. Well, cool. I used to work at GAT and talk to you there. So I subscribed. I work at another gun place now, but I was curious if Krebs was hiring. I know you don't work there, but I remember you knew Krebs personally. I don't know if he's hiring. He has his core group of guys. He's got his head gunsmith. He's got his, and then I don't know what the title is of the other guy, if he's like the head of manufacturing or something. And then a few other guys here and there, and Brian, his receptionist guy, that handles all the shipping and telephone calls and all that. Most of them have been with him for quite a while, but he does have a few guys, I think, that come and go. And I assume, like other businesses, he's always looking for good help. If, he doesn't really have a retail place there, I don't know if that's what you're looking for, or you're looking more to, be involved in building. I could certainly ask him when I talk to him next. I actually got to give him a call. I haven't talked to him in quite a while. And we got pretty tight there. He's just a super guy. And I'll ask him. So just, drop me a line on the channel or something, and I'll see. What happened at GAT? What's going on there? I haven't been down there. God, when was that? A year ago, maybe? I was coming from Chicago out west, and I remember GAT was there and pulled off. If you guys don't know what GAT is, it's a huge, huge gun store in Illinois. Not a bad place, I guess. Not the greatest prices, not the worst, but big selection. Let's see. What else? I am passionate about the AK platform. I love to work at a place like that and learn more. You will learn, let me tell you. It's unbelievable what you'll learn there. Just some incredible guys. I was at home and was wearing my Alex Jones had my noodle drainer, what? And Discord. I'm not following that. I was at home and I was wearing my Alex Jones, had my noodle drainer, my folks and Discord friends had good laugh. That was only good thing about that day. Yeah. You'd love to build. Yeah. It's just fun there. Over at Krebs. Yeah. So getting back to, that day. So they show them then, I started seeing where they pushed in and all of that. And I'm going to give you, I haven't sat and watched news. I just stopped watching it. I'll get a quick view and I'm done. I'm not with Fox News on where you hear Hannity or Laura Ingraham or somebody repeat, oh, here they're playing it the second time today. I used to have it on in the background constantly, and you'd hear the same show 3 times. I don't do that anymore. I watch a little bit, I shut it off. So, guys, here's my snapshot of what I saw, what I took from it, and the thoughts that crossed my mind before there was any input from media or hearing the other side, arguments and the spin and all of that stuff. I'm going to tell you exactly what I thought when I watched the video. So I told you that, after Trump spoke, I just thought it was like, yeah, hey, come on, we'll meet you down there. There's another thing going on and we'll meet you there. And I didn't know till later that there was a different protest scheduled down there or whatever. I just thought they were going down to be near the Capitol building or near the stairs and do their protest thing. I had been to a rally with my wife. I don't know, year. It was like going to a gun show or being with a bunch of gun guys without the guns. We were in Milwaukee for it, and we got there early morning thinking, because they always say, oh, they're so packed and the lines are forming and this and that. Thought we got to get there early. So we left early. We got there early. We parked across the street from the main area where they were lining up and had, the gates where you go in and out. And we were like 3rd floor, 4th floor parking garage looking down on it. And we looked down and, yeah, there's some people, but by no means is it packed yet. And we thought, oh, we got here too early. So it was very cold that morning. And my wife says, I don't want to stand out there. She hates the cold. I'm going to stay in the car. All right. So I sat in the car with her for a little while. And then I wanted to go see what was going on. So I said, well, stay here. And they had talked about there being protesters there that day. And as I got out of the car and went toward the stairwell, there was just this random dude standing in the corner there with a hoodie on and whatever else. And kind of looked at me. I looked at him. And it's just weird. He's the only guy there. And he's just standing there. I thought, that's kind of weird. So I thought better of leaving my wife. I just stood outside the car and had a smoke. Kept my eye on him. And waited. And then eventually a group of 3 or 4 people walked up to him. And he knew him and he walked away. But I wasn't going to leave her up there with that after these reports because there had been, demonstrations against Trump. There had been Antifa. There had been all that stuff at that point. And they had been talking in the news that they were going to come to that rally. So anyways, we ended up going down there later in the day and getting in line, and the line tightens up. And as much fun as the rally was, standing in line with all those people was as much or more fun. You got to talk to all like-minded people, all the nicest people you'd ever want to meet, from lower income to upper income and everything in between, every nationality, color, race, creed, religion, just talking, laughing, having fun. like the usual carnival acts walking through the crowd with the Trump costumes and stuff. And it was just a blast. And everybody was courteous. And when they let us in, we were happy to get in because it was cold. As you go in, they tell you take all this stuff out of your pockets, water bottles, this, that. You can't bring anything in. Put it in this pile right here. And they didn't have a garbage can there. They just said, put it in this pile. These are the police and people running the place. So you put it all in the pile, and you can imagine how many people are going. It's growing and growing and growing and growing. Well, what hits the front page of the newspaper the next day? And I knew what it was because I was standing next to it. They put this picture of this giant pile of garbage and talk about what Trump supporters did and the mess they left behind. No, it's where they told us to put it. And somebody snapped a picture of it and put it in there. Me and my wife also made the front page of, I think it was USA Today or the Milwaukee Sentinel. We made the front page that day. For whatever reason, these reporters were like, they'd be scanning the crowd and I'd watch them and they'd lock on to me and just, it was like I stood out for some reason. I don't know. But we got interviewed a couple times and we made the front page, me and my wife. So I didn't know if that was good or bad. I didn't give a shit. But anyhow, so I thought the morning of the sacking of the Capitol, I thought, I know what it's like. I knew what it would be like to be in that crowd there. And by what I was seeing on the news and them interviewing people walking between the two places, I saw a bunch of that. And they all seemed just like they would have at a Trump rally. I didn't think nothing of it. And I thought they'd be down there doing their thing and on the stairs. And even then they showed it, and that's what it seemed like. But it seemed like there were a couple different areas, like maybe to the side and the rear. I've never been to Washington. I don't know what it looks like or how it's laid out. But then I see the pictures they're showing, and these people running over this lawn, and then like where they were pushing the window in. You looked at those guys, and I'm looking at them. I'm like, that's kind of weird. They got helmets and knee pads and the backpacks. And, even though maybe they had some Trumpish garb on, you thought, so it ain't right. I knew right away what it was. And it wasn't, I am not saying that there weren't Trump people there. Here's my opinion. Okay. Just my opinion. You may vary and the truth may be different. I don't know, but my opinion only, is that there were some people in the crowd that were amping people up, from what organization or if they were individuals, I don't know. Let's just say, what's the word I'm looking for? More involved Trump supporters that I'm sure followed them right on in. It's the crowd mentality thing. It's that mob mentality. And I'm pretty sure that a bunch of them followed these other guys in there. But I would find it very hard to believe that they actually started it, And I'm not saying they didn't follow in, but here, let's say gun guys like me and you, we know that to own a gun, you cannot be a felon, right? Who in their right mind, if you are going to be at one of these places and you're a gun guy and you love your hobby, it's everything to you, right? It's your life. It's all you do. In your free time, your off time, you want to make it your work, your livelihood, right? Who is going to risk the thing they love most next to their family and children? Why would they risk a felony like that? Why would you risk forget it, if it was a misdemeanor or just being arrested or detained or put on a list or whatever? Why would you do that? And I'm not going to tell you there's not some probably radicalized people out there, Maybe there is, but I don't know. I just don't get that. And the hundreds of people I talked to at the rally I went to, you saw none of that, nothing like that. Now, granted, there wasn't, things going on like there are now. Maybe people got worked up, whatever. But then you see how they opened the fence up, they let them through. Then you saw the Capitol Police walking with them, not the guy that was like going up the stairs, just kind of holding him back, but other guy walking with them, talking, conversing with them, standing, lines of them standing there and kind of ushering them through. And the guys that were walking in between the ropes, those I could see were Trump supporters, maybe, because they were, you think if it was a mob rushing into this place, they'd rush through and trample it all, but they were neatly walking between the velvet ropes. None of it makes sense. None of it makes sense. There's been some that's come out that the call National Guard was late and they didn't respond and all of that stuff. I got a feeling it got political, and they wanted the photo op. They wanted the photo op, and they got it. Unfortunately, a few people did a few stupid, idiotic things, and gave them the opportunity to get that photo op, which I don't know if they know how much harm they've done, let alone they endangered people's lives and people lost their lives. That's just retarded to do something like that. But that being said, these people they're arresting, those are obviously not, maybe they are Trump supporters, but I think they're radicalized right-wing guys that are just that, ignorant, stupid. You want to fight something, guys, I hate it as much as the next guy, but I'm not going to go outside of the law to get it done. You got to make your voice heard. I love a line in the movie Patriot. If you remember when they're in the courthouse or whatever, they went to Charleston, right? And they're talking about entering into a revolution with the King of England, right? And he says something. Well, we can write him a letter, and they said we've done that. And he says, and we'll do it again and again and again if necessary, to not start a war. And I go back to that Mel Gibson line all the time, that you got to try and try. And I get it. We get the same old thing, the same old crap, right? What's good for them is not good for us. It's very hypocritical in a lot of ways. They can burn cities all summer long, and you either didn't hear a peep from them, they were, had their head stuck in the sand, or they gave approval in some cases. Who was the one that said, well, they'll be protesting after, or people will be people, or all these things. They didn't care that for 104 days, the federal courthouse in Portland was under siege. They tried to burn it down. They spray painted it. They lit police cars on fire. They attacked federal agents with Molotov cocktails, lasers. They blinded one guy. They tried to light him on fire. They shot mortars at him. They tried to beat them and do whatever they could for 104 nights, and nobody said anything. As a matter of fact, they wanted them out of our city. Get out. We're going to take it over. They took over a police station, right? Remember that? There's so much that you forget because it just keeps coming at you. They took over that precinct. Remember that one, guys? And nobody said anything. Nobody pushed them out. Matter of fact, they wanted us just to go away. Law enforcement, go away. We don't want you. It's okay. They deserve it. Let them stay. They've been abused. Whatever. And then some people rush the Capitol, and, it's hypocritical. It just is. I mean, yes, people died. And should it happen? No, I still believe on either side, none of this should happen. It's terrible. But if you're going to be this vocal and this worked up about it and going after Trump to impeach him and all this, where were you when your people were doing it? Where did the arrests go? They all got let go. Nobody got arrested. Nobody got prosecuted. They were paying the bond and bail for these people. And because it's the right, the Republicans, the Trump people, the whatever, it's not okay. It's the exact opposite. And they will not even hear you say that. You're drowned out. It's the old, you say it enough times, they believe it. I've never heard Trump say a racist thing in my life. But I've heard them take a clip and take it out of context. And they do that to the left too, frankly. Fox does it to them all the time. But, I guess that's the game. But the end game, it's just not fair. It really isn't. I'm not in any way condoning it. And I don't want to sound like these newscasters, which, but no, it shouldn't have happened. I guess if it got to the point where you've tried every legal remedy there is and everything else, I often wonder what they say. How do I put this? I
found this on the web for how do I put a stamp.
Siri's listening to me too. They say, well, that's illegal and that's going against the government and this and that. Well, what is revolution? At what point does it switch from being illegal and seditious to being a worthy cause, I guess is the best way to put it. At what point does it switch? Does that switch when public opinion backs it? And if so, I don't think you ever have 100% people backing it, right? There's always going to be, we're loyalists to the crown back then, right? So it's kind of an interesting concept I was thinking of, you got people, friends, coworkers that you talk to, and they say, oh, this is it, it's going to light off, it's going to go. And I tell them, no, it's not going to. And I'll tell you why. Because people are comfortable. And when people are comfortable, that stuff doesn't happen. Do you have any idea how far the average American, and this is my opinion, you guys, and tell me, give me your opinions down here, how far the average American would have to be pushed and how uncomfortable they would have to be made before enough people just said, this is ridiculous, I'm not going to take it anymore? Guys, you're still sitting on your living room sofa with your big screen TV and your Xbox, and you may or may not be going to work. Maybe, for these people that are out of work because of COVID, I could see them being about 10 levels higher, more uncomfortable than someone like me who's still going to work every day. And all, yeah, if your family's not got a check coming in and all, I could see that. And God bless any of you that are in that position. But so I could see that. But my point is, do you know how uncomfortable someone would have to be made before it jumps to that level of, hey, it's time to fight back? And I still think we're a long ways from that. In some ways, that's unfortunate because they'll let it go even though their rights are being slowly taken away. And it's a shame because your rights are concerned, maybe it's too late, right? I don't know the solution. I just like to tell you the thoughts I have. And that was one of them. I thought, number one, that line from the movie Patriot, well, we've tried to talk to them and written them letters. Well, then we'll try and we'll try again and we'll try again. right? The last thing, if you talk to anybody that has been witness to a civil war like the one in Serbia, that is the last thing. It is not glory, guys. It's not the movies. There's shortages. People will starve to death. People will freeze to death. People will be killed. Um, the worst comes out of people because there's one side that's the guy's willing to do whatever it takes to get what people need, and it's the other side that has to procure those things, right? And nothing good happens there in those black markets and all of that stuff. And I don't think it's like people think. I talked to one guy and he said, he said, as far as this is Yugoslavia I'm talking about. So as far as I was concerned, he had his job during the day. He went to what he did. I think he worked in a small machine shop or something. He went to work during the day. He got off work, grabbed his lunch bucket, went home, had some dinner with the wife, and then changed clothes, grabbed his gear, and headed out for his other job, which just happened to be whatever mission they were running that night. And they'd fight or do all night and take pop shots or whatever they were doing. And then he'd come home, go to bed for a few hours, and then go to his regular job. And that's how his day went, And it's not what you think it's going to be. And it's by no means glorious. And it's not army versus army. And it's just a whole different thing. I don't even know. I'm just telling you what two friends of mine that both lived through, and one actually was a combatant in that war. And it's just not what people think. So I don't know. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Joe, I feel sorry for you, buddy. You got to type all this crap. Nobody else is joining in. I'm sorry. But we'll get back to some of the gun stuff too, the AK stuff here. Let's see. We thought the main event was going on. It's cool you were there. No, I was not there. You took it wrong. I was telling you about how Trump supporters were at the rally I was at in Milwaukee, and kind of comparing them to what happened the other day. I was not there. I was at a rally in Milwaukee. They never missed an opportunity to attack him. Yep. Summer of burning. Yeah. And nobody gave a shit, right? Let's see. Opportunists, just like the BLM riots, break the windows and others will go in. Yeah. Raul Duke. Thanks for coming to the stream, Raul. We appreciate it. Hope you like the channel. I haven't seen you around, but hopefully you stay and you like it. I'd like to really build this into something. A friend of mine started out just like this, 10, 15, 20 people watching the stream. And 6 months later, he's got 600 watching a stream. I mean, it's amazing. Now, I don't claim to be anywhere near as interesting as him, but what makes it interesting is not so much what I'm blabbing, but what goes on in the comments over here. And you guys talking about little side conversations and stuff, and learning from each other. We might be on like today, the subject of AKs, and you got something or you got a problem and you put it out there, another guy answers, and before you know it, it's kind of cool. Let's see. My guns are my life rock. I love my family, but I love my rights more. Yeah, that's, they go hand in hand, don't they? Because gives you the strength and the what to fight for thing, and the other gives you the ability to protect those things you love. You know what I mean? So they go hand in hand. Did your forefathers risk their lives so you can have your guns you love so much? That's PLT 2081. Did your forefathers? I got to read that and think where you're coming from. I'm not understanding. Did your forefathers risk their lives so you can have your guns you love so much? I often say that we've got too many people today, citizens, whatever, that don't understand. it's the guys that say, well, from my dead hands, and when it all falls apart, I'll be there, and we're going to kick their ass, and this and that. Those guys are the first ones gone, right? And other people will say, well, look, I got a job, I got a family, I got this. What am I supposed to do? And I tell my kids this all the time, and I tell other people too. Think about what those founding fathers had to risk. They had way more than the majority of us have to risk. They, for the most part, were very wealthy men. They had businesses, they had farms, they had money. Some of them gave all the money to the cause too, hoping to be paid back one day, but certainly no guarantee. They had a lot to lose. Namely, how about this, guys? Their lives. Because if they were caught, if they were captured by British troops, any one of them that so much as attended those meetings, those congressional, I don't know if it was Congress yet then, but the original founding fathers, the meetings they had to lay out those documents, or any one of them that signed those documents, would be give up their life right then and there, firing squad or hanging. There was no trial. There may be a trial, but it was certainly only going to end one way. So yeah, they risked way more than most of us would ever think about risking. And that's the problem today. Enough people don't value what they have enough. What I always tell people to do is, and most people at least know someone or have an acquaintance or a friend at work or something, find someone who's come from a totalitarian state, a communist state, who have escaped from one, or the wall came down, or whatever. They're here now, right? Talk to them. Talk to a Cuban American and ask them about what it was like, and compared to what it's like here, and what they think of this country now at its worst. Ask them how it compares to where they came from and what they went through. If we could get those people on the nightly news, on TV, on radio, in documentaries, on YouTube, you would quickly see the real side of things. And some of these folks would be a bit shocked at what they had to say, because they've seen what we're seeing before. They can smell it. It's in the air, and they'll tell you what it really is like. And they'll also tell you how absolutely magnificent what we have here and this great experiment we have here is compared to what they had. A lot of ways here. How many people load up mom, dad, grandma, and two little babies on a floating little raft made out of maybe a 55-gallon drum and some scrap wood to cross 80 miles of shark-infested water? How badly must you want to leave your home, think about that, your home and everything you own, to pile on a rickety whatever that you made with your baby infant children and risk God knows what, if you'll ever make landfall or be eaten by sharks or be swept away or be killed or imprisoned or whatever? How bad must it be that they're willing to do that to get to this horrible, horrible, horrible place called America? Think about that, guys. I just hope what they're running to is what they expect today with what we have coming down the pipe. I just hope. I don't want to come off as sounding like I'm okay with what's going on. I'm not okay with what's going on. What's shocking. Think back a week or two ago. It's been a few days since they've been, shutting off channels and your press has been shut down. He can't speak to his people. He can through the other means, TV, that type, radio, stuff like that. However, Twitter was his thing. It was his direct pipeline to the people. It's how he got his word out, news out, this and that. And I'll argue, and I know, don't hit me with this public, private company thing. I'll argue that there's no difference today between, forget about the legalese of it for a minute. There's no difference between YouTube, Twitter, all these other platforms, and radio and TV 40 years ago, 50 years ago, 20 years ago. There's no difference, guys. Radio stations are privately owned. Newspapers are privately owned. TV stations are privately owned. At some point, it's either a platform and simply that, just a platform, or you decide you want to edit what's on that platform, and things change then. And I will argue that they are definitely monopolies. Yes, there's other choices out there, but they prove more and more that they are a monopoly when they can not just cancel a channel or cancel a person on Twitter, but can shut down entire platforms because they own the servers. You became quite a bit more of a monopoly when that happened, didn't you? And if I think back, it's almost, I thought how quick all this happens. Lightning quick. Days ago, none of this was going on. And in a blink of an eye, your president is saying and can't speak, and platforms are being shut down, and your First Amendment is truly out in the open, not a shadow ban, not of this, out in the open, shut down. There's proof positive right there in your face that your First Amendment is under attack. You can say what you want, that President Trump, all the terms they use, lit the powder keg, did this, did that. You can say what you want there. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not. I don't know. And that it caused the death of people. But how many plans, attacks, terrorist events, murders, beatings, crimes are hatched every day over a cell phone? Should Verizon shut them all down? Should AT&T shut them all down? Why are we so worried about one man's Twitter account when, guarantee you, right at this moment, there's a criminal endeavor going on a phone somewhere? It happened. Hell, it happens every day. They say that it was planned over YouTube, that it was common knowledge or whatever, and things are planned on all these different things, right? So that's just a cop-out. But 6 months ago, 3 months ago, a year ago, what would you say if you woke up in the morning and front page of newspaper was, your president can no longer speak or be heard on TV or radio or newspaper? What would you say? Would your jaw hit the ground? Would you be like, oh my God, I know this. 15, 20 years ago, there would be a war going on already. It would have, there's no way. People wouldn't put up with that. I don't know why it's happening now. It's insane. A couple of weeks ago, nobody could imagine this. Nobody. And I'll argue that there were other people to blame for this as well on both sides, because the rhetoric they've turned up on both sides is just ridiculous. And I say, why is there so much hate for one person? There's obviously other reasons. Obviously other reasons. You don't form these assaults, these attacks, and all of this on one man if there's not some underlying reason. It just doesn't happen. Doesn't happen. And I'll leave it at that. But it's amazing. Let's see. I'm going to get over to the comments here. I got to jump up, so bear with me. I see Orient Fixers here. That's awesome. Glad to see you. I missed you. I'm like, Dan, where's all my buddies? Understanding what you're saying with, did your forefathers risk their lives so you can have your guns you love so much? Has nothing to do with have my guns I love so much. It's not that. The guns, while they are my hobby, yes, they are. The true love of those guns is not the guns. It's the right I have to own them for one reason, and that's to fight off tyranny. Period. The end. Has nothing to do with deer. If I was a deer hunter, has nothing to do with that. I like the history. I love the craftsmanship. That's what amazes me. I love the craftsmanship of metal and wood and all that coming together, just like I do with knife building. Could be a kitchen knife, could be anything. I love the craftsmanship that you can take this rough, terrible piece of something, a mineral out of the ground, and chop a tree down and turn it into, here's a flashlight, just a flashlight. But what amazes me is that was a hunk of aluminum in the ground, and look at that to me is a piece of art, what they've done. And how they've machined it, and that it's so smooth and that's a bad idea. I got a better one, a knife, right? Look at this. Look at that, how they've melded everything together. That just amazes me that the human hand can take that and turn it into something so useful, so perfect, so symmetrical, and so useful. And to me, it has nothing to do with what job this can perform. It has to do with the shape and the manufacture of it all, and the craftsman, the artistry that went into it. So there's that. But why did they die? They've died so that I have the right to own those things to protect all my other rights. That's why they died. That's why they died. And that's, if it was anything but that, it'd be a crying shame, wouldn't it? And it'd be a crying shame to give up all of what we have here for all the sacrifices all these men and women have made over all these years, including my grandfathers, both of them, and the sacrifices they made, and many family friends and aunts and uncles and fathers, and all of them that have laid down their lives or been injured or paid the ultimate price, whatever. That would be such a shame to let all that just go away in vain, wouldn't it? That my grandfathers would be rolling over in their grave right now if they knew everything they gave up and fought so hard for and left their families and their baby daughters, my mother, to go off and fight a war. Because why? Because he loved this country and what it stood for and wanted something better for his daughter and for his grandson. And that's the crying shame. And that's personally why I can never let that happen in this country. I can't. I owe too many people a debt for what they did. And I think a lot of us feel that way. That's why we love this country. That's why. So I hope I got my point across, guys. I sounds like he may have taken that wrong. I'm blabbing so long I can't go that long without a cigarette. Sorry, guys. So let's go. It only takes 2 armed people arrested during the inauguration to take our rights away. This is easy for them with the media behind them. Yeah, it's another thing, they're putting up all these barricades and everything. And they've got all the National Guard there and all this stuff. And there were, I don't know if there were organizers to it or something, all these, things at the different state capitals. And I think in Washington, they were calling for all these protests. And I think they were calling for armed protest, which, guys, that would be the dumbest thing we could ever do right now. Because you're just going into a trap. You're going into a trap. And whether you truly did something to endanger someone or not, there will be actors there that will certainly make it look like we did. So my advice, my thought is to just, it's not the right time. It's not the right time to even be at a protest unless you are there in silent, lawful, legal protest. And in no way, shape, or form even remotely look or get close enough to have it be construed as anything but that. I would highly try to defer you from doing anything like that. You would do so much more harm than good right now. And is that backing down? Is that going along with the program or doing what they want you to do? Maybe, but there's something called living the fight another day. You know what I mean? Not literally, but I think it'd be, yeah. You hit the nail on the head there, Raul. You really did. Very easy for the media to just blow something up. And unfortunately, that's the world we live in. You got to be a step ahead of them. And unfortunately, they've been a step ahead of us. And it's just the situation plays into their hand a lot better than anything we got going on right now in this particular situation with the inauguration and all that. So I would say your best bet is to stay away from those protests right now. Maybe not a state protest. There's no endangerment there really. But still be legal, be lawful, do it within the law. That's what I would recommend. We're not about violence. We're not about, vandalism, anything like that. Let's see what else here. I've been saying mostly peaceful protest. It annoys liberal relatives. Yeah, right. That's what theirs were. The one is the best, where that kind of short, pudgy reporter is standing in front of that blazing thing. I mean, it's just raging behind him. And for the most part, it's been pretty much a peaceful protest. What the hell? I mean, come on. It's so ridiculous. They try their hardest to keep us fat and happy so we don't snap. Yep, you're right. They give you, a comfy little prefab cookie cutter house in a subdivision somewhere, a 65-inch TV, an Xbox, and a freezer full of burritos and frozen pizzas, and that'll pretty much shut up 90% of the population, right? Take their Xbox away and see what the hell happens. At least with the younger generation. Let's see. The comfort is the Fed buying everything, and people's 401ks continue to go up. If this was 2010, the Dow would be at 8K instead of a steady approach to 40. Guys, I've been saying this for the longest time. It's, that this huge thing is going on when your gross domestic product is cut by 2/3, but the stock market's approaching 40,000 and keeps on going. Unemployment was at an all-time high, and although it's come back, you've got thousands and thousands of businesses closing, but the stock market keeps going up. You keep printing money, trillions. We ran up more debt, in the last year, I think it may be off a little, but you get the gist. We ran up more debt with just these COVID relief bills, if this next one comes and whatever, than they did in the last 250 years, right? Combined. And when you keep printing money and keep printing money, what happens? Hyperinflation. And it's coming, guys. They're running it up right now, and then they're going to pull that plug. And you better have your 401ks in order and in the right things, or out of the market completely, because you'll lose it all this time. It ain't going 40, 50%. Think about this, working from home, right? 50% of people, whatever, working from home. And now a lot of them are saying, we're not going back. We don't need people to go to these big office buildings we're paying millions of dollars for to rent. Why do we need them? So what happens when they don't go back? What happens when all these buildings don't have tenants anymore and no one's paying the rent? And all these mom and pop businesses, or not just mom and pop, privately owned businesses that have these leases, these retail establishments, aren't there anymore. I'll tell you what happens. It all implodes. People have no idea. New York's a ghost town, as are many of the other cities. What about the public transportation? There's no use for that. People ain't going back and forth. What about all those corner sandwich shops that are providing lunch for all those workers that are going in and out of the city anymore, that just won't be anymore? It's all gone. And you're not building that back. You're not bringing these businesses back. It's not like they're going to, ta-da, we're open again. It's not happening. I said from day one when this happened, we got 2 weeks to reopen this thing. And after that, it's over with. And I'll stand by that. Maybe we could have made 2 weeks a month. 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year. How long? How much longer? It's done. They're done. The average small business can't last 60 days on their receivables. Ask me how I know. Guys, you live and die by your receivables in a small business and cash flow, right? It's all about cash flow. When those checks aren't coming in from your customers, and you got checks going out to your vendors, your suppliers, when the one slows down, what happens? You can tell them a story here and there for a little bit. Oh, geez, I didn't get the checks out. Oh, the mail, COVID. That buys you a couple days, a week maybe. And when those receivables aren't coming in, it's over in 30 days. It's over. I'm telling you right now, a well-funded, solid business that's been around for a long time and the owners have run it right, reinvested capital and put some capital aside, sure, they can get by. Maybe they got a loan from the government program for that, and waiting for that to come down the pipe too. Oh, it's a grant as long as you do this, this, and this and keep your people on. Well, and it lasts this long. You didn't keep your people on because you closed. You owe it now, right? Wait till that hits. It's not pretty. I don't even know if Donald Trump could bring this thing back. I really don't. Anyways, if you got a 401k, you better get it in order, put it in whatever. I'm not a financial wizard, trust me. But I do know a little bit, and what I know is just enough to be dangerous. But I do know that here's what I do know. I don't know where to go with cash right now if you have it. I'm trying to figure that out. Do you go to bonds? The opposite of stocks and bonds, and do you move it over there? How can I make money on the fall? Like all these other guys do. I guess my financial planner doesn't tell me that end of it. Do you move into precious metals? Do you buy some gold and silver? If you got a large 401k, you're close to retirement, whatever, can you buy that much quick enough at the right money? Does that hold its value, or does it? Here's the other thing, right? When stocks drop, gold, silver go up, right? Well, for years, I'm not saying lately, but for years, stocks would drop and gold wouldn't go up. And then when the market was doing great, gold and silver wasn't really dropping. Well, I guess it did there, but it never seems to, lately, it wasn't doing that classic thing. So you go, well, when the rules that are set in stone pretty much aren't applying anymore, how does that work? How does that work? Something's wrong, right? So you're on a live stream. My son, ladies and gentlemen. When those rules don't apply anymore, you think, what's up, right? The markets are being controlled. And so can you move into bonds? Can you move into gold and silver and just sit on it? Let's say you had $500,000 in a retirement plan or something. Can you, and you got to stay within their parameters. Well, you can buy gold that's IRA eligible, right? Physical gold, and hold it. Where are you going to hold a $500,000 worth of silver? Where are you going to keep it? You put it under the bed in a shoebox, bury it in the yard. Gold, okay, more portable, I guess, but where are you going to put that? Will it go up in value like they're talking, or will it pull some weird thing because they're controlling the markets? Will they call it in like they did? Was it in the 30s when they demanded the public turn in all privately held gold and silver? And they did it at a set price, right? Well, what if I bought it higher than their set price? They're just going to demand I turn over my, come on, they did it. So don't say it can't happen again. When I see something being advertised as much as gold and silver, oh, buy this, Roslyn Capital, and this one and that one, and in good times and bad times, and what's coming upon us, the world storm, you better buy gold. When you see it everywhere like that, I just don't know. Do you buy property? Maybe you take your money and buy real estate. You can put that in an IRA, right? Property am I going to buy? Well, commercial is kind of out of the question right now, right? I wouldn't want to be in that. Sure, there's a few commercial properties that may be good, no matter what. But I don't know. Do you buy residential? Well, if the market falls on its ass, maybe a residential rental property will do good because they lose their homes, whatever. They need to rent something. Do they have enough money to rent? Do you want to deal with that? Can you do it quick enough before the market takes a dive right now? Because I got a feeling we're pretty close to something. Do you put it in Bitcoin? My son, you just saw him back there? At 8,000, he told me, Dad, buy Bitcoin now. Buy it. Just buy it. Take a bunch of money. And I had just sold my business, so he was thinking about putting it somewhere. I was asking him for ideas, and he said, Dad, put it in Bitcoin. Well, I guess at this point I should have listened to him, because at 8,000 he said buy it. At 10,000 he said buy it. At 15, come on, Dad, come on. At 20, Dad, please buy it. At 30, Dad, look, I told you so. At 40, Dad, look. Well, Christ, I literally would be long retired right now had I just listened to him a few months ago. But who knows about hocus pocus Bitcoin? I don't. I'm the average guy, guys. I don't know. I see large companies getting into it, buying pieces of it, but I don't know. Right now, that is my biggest worry, is the economy that everyone seems to have forgotten about right now, because the savior, Mr. Biden's coming in. They've forgotten about what's going to happen there. And I don't know if you guys got any ideas of what you're doing or what you're going to do or what you would do. Maybe I'd love to have somebody in here that was in one of these industries, banking, high finance, whatever. That would be very useful right about now to me. But I just don't know. Anyhow, let's get back over. I've been saying mostly peaceful. Okay. Try their hardest to keep us fat. Comfort is the Fed buying everything. So people's 401ks. Yep. I didn't hear Milwaukee part. No, you were talking about when you mixed up the two things. Just joined N1K5 Smith. I don't know. Am I saying that right? Just joined. What's going on? Yeah, we were talking about AKs, and then I got sidetracked onto all this political crap, and we'll get off of that and back to guns. Right? Guns are more fun to talk about. I found you via wood finish AK videos. Okay, cool. I love refinishing AK wood. I love refinishing any kind of gun stock. I think my favorite thing in firearms is restoring and refinishing them. If I could have my dream job, I would restore firearms or take nice firearms and make them better, is what I would do. I love it. Although even the shellac finishes can bug me sometimes. I want things to go a certain way and I'm not patient enough. And if you watch that video, you know I say all the time that shellac is one of the most forgiving ways to finish wood, and that if you mess it up, don't worry about it. You can fix it without even having to strip it and reapply it. And I go into how I do that. And it's fun to work with and experiment with and reproduce the different finishes and colors that the Comblock countries have used to get their finishes. Okay, let's see where I'm at. I'm probably way behind these comments. My guns, I gotta get down further. They're not right. Mine aren't even moving fast, these comments, and they're a pain in the ass to keep up with. But let's see. Just joined, found the wood. Okay. Joe, I'm ready, man. If it comes down to it, I'd rather fight and die than lose my rights. I'm okay with being dead. Yeah, I told my wife, my kids, my family, friends, I've done my job. I've raised my children. I've raised good kids. I've taken care of my wife. I've provided for her. I've been a good person, a good citizen, I hope. I help people out. And at the end of the day, when you've done your job and you get to a point in life where Joneses and all that crap, I'm past that. I did it, right? I did all those things. And the stuff ain't what's important. Matter of fact, you get to a point in life where you go from accumulating to just wanting to get rid of and simplify it. I put stuff out we live on out in the country, way out in the country. I just put stuff out by the end of the driveway with a sign on it, free. It may be, an old snowblower that still works, but I got a new one, so take it. I want it to go to somebody. I don't need $50, $20. There it is. Take it, family. And to come up with all that money, I will. Because it's those little things. If you can make somebody else's life a little bit easier, one less thing to worry about, one less thing to free up some money to pay for what's important, then God bless. I'm glad I can help somebody. But yeah, I've said, I've done my job. I've raised my children. I've raised them the right way. I've set them on that path. A lot of people think that, well, nothing special about that. But I'll tell you, and I tell other people that, and I tell my father that. doing that job today shouldn't be so much, I guess, but that's kind of almost a hero in a different sense. I don't mean to run into a blazing fire, but there's a lot to be said for good parents and good people, because that's where it starts. And if you've done your job, you're a hero. You're a hero to them, at least, right? So yeah, America can be rad again. People just need to knock off the crazy stuff. Yeah, they do. And a lot of it's blown out of proportion by the media. I often wonder why we worry about the 1% instead of the 99%. We worry about LGBTQ. I don't even know the letters, and it's not because I'm not a caring person. I don't know them. We worry about all this stuff. How many of those people can there possibly be? They have all the rights we do. God bless. Do what you want. I'm not here to tell you how to do it or how to live your life. I'm just here to let you be you and leave me alone. I just want to be left alone. But we worry about that 1% instead of the 99%. And that's got the 99% upset, Not telling you guys anything you don't know. Let's see. Orient Fixer. Sorry, Chris. I've been in and out. I'm playing nursemaid to my wife. Oh, is she sick? She blew her back. That sucks. Blew her back out. I'll try to add content in a while. I hope your wife feels better. You know what? Take good care of her. This is a good time where you can look like a hero, right? Where you can earn some points. And when she's feeling better, that'll pay off. Take good care of them. They work hard. That's for sure. Life would be better without phones. Life would be better without the media machine. And forget about whether or not there's other entities pushing them. Their job is entertainment, right? And think about the word. Now I got to think what the word is. Television news, right? They're a TV news station, right? Well, which word comes first? TV, right? News comes second. They're a TV station, first and foremost, which means what? They're there to entertain you. So that news has to be entertaining, has to draw you back in. Think about the announcements. Bombshell tonight. Tonight we're covering a bombshell. Bombshell. Everything's a bombshell. And I've never seen one fucking bombshell anywhere. All these bullshit stories and this and that, just to keep you coming back. And they draw you into it. They draw you in and they pound it in your head. And it's a horrible, horrible thing. It is. We need to get away from it, away from social media. You look at someone's Facebook page and you'd swear they're president of a bank somewhere, traveling to exotic places all around the world 20 times a year, and they've all driving Ferraris, and they've got 7 vacation homes. And what it comes down to is you've got some bust out who's a $10 an hour or something somewhere, who's renting an Airbnb, pretending like he lives there, renting some fast car for a day to go impress his buddies and bullshit like that. And then everybody looks at that and goes, well, look how he's living. I should live like that too. Come on. That's what it's all about today, guys. It's one big friggin' hoax, the whole friggin' thing. Yeah, and that's the problem with today. That's the problem. Let's see. One way or another, I will die a free man. Either they will leave us alone and I'll die a grumpy old man, or I'll die with my boots on, balls in their court. I want to be a grumpy old man. I do. That's one of my favorite movies. You guys ever watch Grumpy Old Men? Sometimes I think I'm the only one that's seen it. Walter Matthau, Jack Lemmon, Burgess Meredith. What are the two ladies? Oh, shoot. I can't remember their names. Famous actresses. Those are the greatest, just good, family, feel good, hilarious friggin' movies on the planet. And for whatever reason, I watch them with the whole family all the time. My mom and dad will come, we'll watch them. And the one is set in the wintertime. They're up in Minnesota in a town called Wabasha. And actually, Wabasha exists. It's right, we actually race at a motocross track right next door to it, Spring Creek Motocross. And can look down at the town of Wabasha, and they sell shirts there, home of grumpy old men. That's where it was set. That's where the one guy says, I've laid more pipe in Wabasha, or I've laid more pipe in this town than Wabasha plumbing, you know. And anyways, we watch it because it's set in Minnesota there, and they're showing the ice fishing out on the lake, and it's just like where I'm at up north of Wisconsin, just like that. And they're grumpy old men, and they're retired, and they fish all day and do their thing, and that's that. And even in that movie, they got problems with the IRS, right? But that's all I want to do. Grumpy old man's a good thing. It's a good thing. Let's see. Tim Farley's in here. He may have went away. No, there he is. These damn comments jump up, and I'm trying to get back so I can read them, guys. Hold on. Everything. Okay, come on. Let's go down a little. I found you. Yeah, I'm glad you like my wood refinishing stuff. I don't know which one you watched, if it was the one where I used the build-up technique with the shellac to fill in kind of stuff and leave some of those original battlefield scars in, or if it was the RPK one where I kind of do that there too, but it looks really nice. Gets real deep and really nice looking. Big Tech hasn't caught on yet, but they will be swallowed up by the government when the people they are backing get total control. Kiss all those millions goodbye. Yeah, right? Eventually, they're going to turn on them, right? I heard someone say it a slightly different way earlier today. It's you see the government or whatever going after someone, and you say, oh, whew, good, they're going after that guy. Well, guess what, guys? They're coming after you eventually. When they're done with them, they're coming after you. That's just how it is. It's just how it is. Hitler did the same damn stuff. And yeah, they're right. They're going to come after them. Smoking is not a problem. I'm on the side of the screen smoking like a smokestack. It's the only thing I got left. I don't do anything. I drink here and there, but him and others like him are a future. Yeah, my son's was in the Army. And my son wanted nothing. He's wanted to be nothing other than a soldier from the time he was 6 or 7. It's all he ever truly wanted to do. And, like anything, my wife was so afraid. Don't you promote it. Don't you push him toward that. They're scared. They're moms. That's their job. But it's all he ever wanted to do. And it wasn't just, I remember him running around in the little army suit with the hat and the helmet and everything. And you think it's cute. And then, he gets older and he still wants to do it. And at some point, maybe you try to talk him out of it because you want to go to college and stuff. And, but it's hard when your kid, when you ask him why, and he's doing it for all the right reasons. And you say, well, why? And he says, because I feel it, Dad. That's just, I got to. I have to. So here's a funny story, and you think God works in mysterious ways, right? So he's in the reserves, and prior to whatever, he's working out with them. The recruiter takes all these kids, and they're working out. Farm towns, you got a lot of kids that go in the military, and he's doing all that, and he's assigned to a unit and whatever, but he's waiting to go to basic, and the night before he's leaving for basic, his sister had just gotten back home from being down in Georgia. She had been down there for 2 years training full-time at a race facility. She was a pro motocross rider, one of the best in the country. Well, at one point, the best. So she was training, and she won the national championship, and I was staying with her for those 2 years. And we had just gotten home, and home for a couple of weeks, and he's leaving. And the night before he's leaving, there was a local race close by under the lights, a nighttime supercross race. And she says, come with me. She wanted her brother to go with. It's kind of a thing. When you come back from being gone racing nationals, you come back home local where you're kind of a local celebrity and all the kids know you because they seen you racing and stuff. And they want to race at their hometown track, and the announcers treat them different, everything. And so she didn't want to go by herself, so I went with her, and my son went with. He had been off racing for a couple years, had injured himself, and we went racing that night. And he's in a turn, and he's leaned over, and the guy next to him falls over on him. He puts his leg out like you do coming into a corner, and he falls over, and he's not getting up. And I'm going, "What? Come on, get up." I've seen this. We've been racing for 15 years, since they were 4 years old. I'm like, why is he getting up? I see him get up, and the leg does like spaghetti, and I go, oh my God. The night before boot camp, he demolished broke his leg, tore everything there is to tear. And I think it's 4 years now, maybe. And it's just now it's been a few months, but he feels he could go back in, and that it would withstand the rigors of everything. But he's tried talking to everybody to get back in. He doesn't care branch, this, that. He just wants in, and he wants infantry or something like that, and he just can't. You want to talk about heartbroken? I mean, heartbroken. His dream, I feel bad because I'm sure there's a lot of kids like that, but to see it firsthand, and as a dad, and even though how dangerous it could be and all that, it's what he truly wanted, and you want your son to have what he wants, and heartbreaking. So, yeah. That's he is the future, though. He goes shooting with me. He's conservative. He was involved in politics for a while, Republican Party, worked for on the governor's campaign, a few other things, wanted to go to law school, just graduated and was going to go to law school. And the more he thought about it, the more he says, Dad, that's a scary thing. This whole Trump thing has pushed him away from politics. He says, why do I want to open my life up to that? I said, well, somebody's got to do it, right? It's the old saying, if not me, then who, right? I told him, well, start local. Get involved with a school board. Get involved with the town board. It's really, I don't think it'd be all that hard to end up a state representative, especially a good-looking, tall, young man, smart, educated. But you want to throw them in that swamp. At some point, do they all get sucked into the game? You know what I mean? Not even willingly. I mean, where you're just in and they got something on you and it's done, I don't know. Anyhow, Bitcoin will be at 50K soon. Yeah. You think they'll pull the plug though? Do you get in? I don't know. At 50K, they say, well, it could go 3,200% more than it is right now. Maybe. I can see it. I don't know. Let's see. I gotta find somewhere to put some money. I can't be in this, guys. It's not going to be good. There is no common organization that people can look to for guidance. There are thousands of mini internet sites whose primary function is to make money for the sites. Yes, you are correct. And once in a while, if you weed through them all, you might find some well-meaning person with good advice or good, but yeah, there's got to be an organization somewhere. Tim Farley just bought a couple of grands from CMP. Good for you, man. Awesome. I had wanted a grand for my son's favorite rifle, a grand. That's all. Oh, man. Dad, can we get a grand? Can we get a grand? And for a long time, up until the last few years, that was a lot of money. And I wanted one to get one so bad so he could shoot it. And we were at the local range up north, and guy had one, and my son comes, Dad, he's got a grand. So he's over there kind of watching from 20 feet away. He was probably 12. And the guy saw him looking. He comes up to me, he says, hey, I saw your son looking. Would he like to shoot it? And I don't want to be that guy, but I said, you know what? I said, you have no idea how much that little boy would love to shoot that rifle. And I said, I'd be happy to pay you for the ammo. I don't want you to, be out. And I said, no. He says, that's the least of my worries. Come on over. So he got him down there. And if you saw him there, he's 6'4", but he was always a little guy and skinny. And he put that big gun up, man, and boom. And, he just big smile on his face. He's looking at me, and the guy says, you want another? He says, yeah. He told him, dump it all. So he went through that clip and ping. And, oh, man, you never seen a kid so happy in your life. It was cool. So the grand you see in my thing, that I was at a gun show with him, actually. And we're walking down the aisle, and he says, Dad, look at that grand. I'm looking at it. It looks really nice, but I didn't know a lot about grands. I'm an AK guy, right? So I took some pictures. I asked the guy if I could take some pictures, took some pictures, serial numbers, this, that. And I said, no offense, I just got to go research it. And I'll give you a call later in the week if you still got it. Maybe we'll put something together. The guy says, no problem. So I researched it. It was what I wanted, and I ended up getting them. And he loves shooting it. That he don't know it yet, but that gun will go to him. Well, they all go to him, but Anyhow, man, I'm happy you got those. They're part of that last batch, or the ones that came in from the Philippines, right? There were some really nice guns in there from some of the stuff I've seen. 2 service grades, one with original stock and one has a new stock. Yeah, mine's got a new one, but it is a wartime gun, late war. It's mine 44 or 45, I forget. Real early 44, I think mine is. So it might have just made it there, but whatever. It's original barrel gun. Some of the parts are, I don't know. Some guys tell me I went through it in my video, and one guy says, that gun ain't original, Well, to me, it's got the original barrel. Most of the other parts are all Springfield, except the op rod is a that built them. Anyhow, it's got a different op rod, but he's telling me this is wrong and this is wrong. And it does have the wrong trigger guard, but it's got the good trigger guard, so I left it. A few other things in the new stock, but it's a pretty right gun, and it's pretty. And I like the new stock because my OCD, although I like the wartime stock, that new one is easier for me to handle. My son wants one that's, original in the original stock, but hey, don't look a gift horse in the mouth, kid. I'll crack you one. Anyhow, original stock rubbed a tad bit of linseed on the new stock's nice. Yeah, that's when I got that new stock, the CMP one. They look very dry when they come to you. I'm sure they put some stain and some oil on them. But man, when you rub that linseed in, it gets so nice, right? We call it boiled linseed oil. You rub that in, and they get so nice. And then you just don't want to go too. I kind of reserve that shiny look for original, well-worn stocks where, man, that oil's been ground in for God knows how long and how many battles. We're gonna get to the end of this, guys. I've been rambling to you guys for 2.5 hours. What the hell? I'm sorry I'm boring you guys. Just bought okay. Where are we here? Too bad M1s are banned from import. They would be cheaper than they are now. Yeah, right? Problem of actual hands on gold and silver would be need buyers after shit. Yeah, you're right. I don't know if it'll be shit hit the fan. But would there be dealers still buying it, and at what price? By the time the new currency hits and all. So what do? You will not be buying groceries. Well, maybe with silver you'd be buying groceries. A buyers will buy at prices below spot, of course, if you can find a buyer. And it's not about, I guess you'd have to use some during it, but it's about getting rid of it afterwards. Would you get out what it's worth? I don't know. Lots of changes seen in my 70 plus years, but unlike in the past, we could find alternative ways to remain free and independent without Eastern laws in every home and child's mind. Yeah, right? It's hard even when you raise your kids right, because they get indoctrinated in the schools. And even out here in the country, unfortunately, it seems the education system leans left, And I know a lot of the teachers out here in the country, and they're good people, but they still lean left. And to me, while I appreciate teachers, I absolutely do, I don't know that they deserve all that. Praise the teachers for working. The minute you for children, somehow it elevates you up here. And I don't see the difference. Yes, it's a job. Hopefully you're committed to it, love it. And yes, I appreciate you're teaching my children. But that's not elevated above the banker, the police officer, or the this or the that. Now, granted, there are some parents out there who think it's the teacher's job to raise their children, and for that, I can empathize with you. But does it somehow put them on pedestals? No. They have a lot of time off. I'm not going to say they have half a year off. And I know they prepare for their upcoming classes, whatever. Yeah, they look at the teacher's guide and go, yep, ready for class. No, I'm kidding. I don't know what's involved. I'm sure it's like any other job, though. You have to prepare. And, they spend money out of their pockets. Well, I buy my guys lunch all the time. I give them gifts. I have contests. I get all out of my pocket. And I don't even own the place. So, it's all relative. But somehow when the children are involved, it's more whatever. But yet they do lean left. So when they hear it enough, even though you've raised them this way, once in a while you'll get some pushback on some things. And you got to be careful how you handle it, because they'll start to cancel you and kind of push you out. And then they get smart again. There's an age where it happens. But Anne Margaret was one of the ladies in that movie. Yes, she was. And then, damn it, I just had it. The Italian chick. Ann Margaret and I don't know. Wasn't Ann Margaret a lefty? I don't know. Came here for coffee and Kalashnikovs. I'm sorry. Shit. I got coffee, though. I'm going to end the political portion of this, and then we'll talk a little bit more about AKs, and then I'm out of here. But the political stuff, we all know what we believe. We all know what happened there. And I don't know, you hear rumors of stuff that something's going to come down the pipe. Something's going to save us from all this in the next week or two. Boy, that would be magnificent, but I'm not holding my breath, because if I held my breath and went and stood over in the corner there, you'd call me little blue boy in a little bit. So I'm not going to hold my breath and wait for that. But we just have to stay vigilant. We have to keep our eyes in every direction, watch for what's coming down. If it turns fast, you got to be ready. If it's just a slow creep toward it, picking up speed, well, then we got to get and do something. And when it gets to that point, we'll know. And we got to do it before it's too late. That's all. So you got to be ready. And you got to preach to everybody that'll listen. And don't worry about what they think, because let's face it, guys, they don't care what we think of them, right? They don't care. And maybe we've just been raised right, that conversation goes a little ways and this and that. But we do it right. Now, here we go. I start talking, and now my connection is going bad. Anyhow, yeah, imagine that. And hopefully it comes back here. But anyhow, that's enough of that. We all know what to do, and let's just pray for the country, make sure everything's good, make sure everyone in this country stays safe. And it's still all of our country, guys. We have to abide by the law and make sure everybody's good. So as far as the AK thing, I got as far as, how I got into it. And the Chinese one that came from my dad. Let's see, what else? Lived in a logging camp in Olympic National Forest, Washington State. And hunting season meant snow and hundreds of flatlanders. So you call them flatlanders there too. That's what we call Illinois people up here in Wisconsin. We call them flatlanders. Can you guys see me? I think they shut my damn stream down. Maybe it's going. There it goes. Are you guys seeing me? Let me know. I hope you guys can say in while they try to reconnect. I don't know if the stream went bad or not. Yeah, we're good. We're good. Okay. See, I started talking there at the end about political stuff, and the stream all of a sudden went. It was fine the entire time. Weird. But that's why you just... Yeah. Hey, YouTube's the only game in town, so you play their game a little bit. Wisconsin Patriot, what's going on? Did you just join in? Were you the one here last week? And I forget where you were from, if that's you. Anyhow, so I got as far as the Chinese AKs, and then, I really started getting into it, really started reading and everything, and just started buying, the arsenals were plentiful, and got some more Yugos. Oh man, look at all the comments flying out now. Coming out of woods in old pickup, Elkinback, seen something in road, stopped, and it was a Grand. You're kidding me. You found a Grand laying in the middle of the road? Somebody must have set it right on their pickup bed or on the trunk. Pulled out of hunting camp, and they must have been sick. Take care of them. One state over, snow is coming. Damn it. I didn't even know. First time, Kenosha. Okay. I used to work for a car dealer in Kenosha. What were their names? LeMay. I worked for the LeMays. They were good, fun people, fun people. I loved that job. Yeah, Kenosha, good town. Hope everything's good there. Hopefully they got everything back together. Anyhow, so back to AKs. Here we go. I'll finish this up, guys. It's I've been on for 2 hours, 36 minutes, which puts us, Jesus. We're going to get out of here no later than 11:30, maybe 11:15. So 10 minutes, something like that. I don't know. Maybe a little longer. Anyways, hey, tell me what happened with that Garand. Did you get to keep it, or did you find the owner, or what kind of shape was it in, and what was it? That's interesting as hell. God, that's everybody's nightmare, right? You leave the range and you either forgot a gun at the range, left it laying on the bench, or maybe you were packing up and you set something on the hood or on the roof and you pulled out and it's gone. Oh my God. I double and triple check. I'd die if that happened. Let's see. Wife and I had 13-foot 1953 camper at Crossroads, something, Eware, where she had cookies and coffee for free, but we accepted donations for pure grades, school kids sports. Okay. That's awesome. That's awesome. We had a 13-foot 53 camper at Crossroads where she had cookies and coffees for free, but we accepted donations for grade school kids sports. See, I deciphered the typing even. I know it's hard to type fast sometimes on these things. Yeah, so, what was available? You had a ton of arsenals available. Vepers. Thank God I caught the end of the Vepr thing. Those are some of my favorite rifles, guys. Why? Because they remind me of the Yugos with the bulge trunnions. And a lot of guys will say, oh, they're too heavy, or that's not a real AK. Well, yeah, it is. Well, no, it's not. It's an RPK with a short barrel. So it's an AK with a nice heavy barrel that you can blast the hell out of. A heavy receiver that'll not wear out, and a beautifully finished gun made in Russia. The last of the Russian guns. And those Veprs, if you've never held one, never cycled one, they are smooth as glass. I get it, guys. Oh, my Wasser. Yes, good gun, good solid gun. But it ain't a Russian gun, let me tell you. And it ain't it ain't a lot of things, but there's nothing wrong with them, guys. I got one. I've had a ton of them over the years, but until you've cycled a Vepr, that's a magnificent AK. And then your milled guns too. I wasn't ever anything much for milled guns until recently, and I've got a few. I just put out a video on the 5.56 gun. Boy, am I glad I bought that thing. That thing is really neat. I like it. Never would I have bought that until I had all the other stuff, But I'm really glad I got it. But Veprs, magnificent guns. Let's talk about what's still available today. As far as new from a dealer, from an FFL, you can get, if I had to buy a gun today, and I was just going to have one or two AKs as a battle rifle, as a shooter, I would buy, it'd be between the ZPAP, because I love Yugo guns, and that's a nice, they got the chrome line barrel now, and the heavier barrel, and the heavier receiver, and the bulge trunnions, and they just make a nice gun. I'd either buy the ZPAP or one of the arsenals, I like Arsenal milled, but if I needed a fighting rifle, I would buy a stamped Arsenal, and I'd either buy the 107 fixed stock, or preferably the 10. Well, if I only had to have one, I'd buy a 107R, the fixed stock stamped gun. Why? Well, I like the FR, the folder, better, but The fixed stock, it's going to be one and only rifle, and you're going to put different optics other than a red dot on it. Maybe you want to go to a prism scope, like a 3-power, or maybe you want to do a 1x6 or something on it. You're going to want to put a different stock on it probably, and the non-folder gives you a lot more options as far as stocks to switch over to like an M4 and put a stock on there with a cheek riser or something if you had to. And every accessory under the sun fits it. Why the stamped? Because they're light. Why Arsenal? Because they're better guns. And say what you want, guys. Some will say my Wasser's as good as an Arsenal, and oh, the money for an Arsenal, you're crazy. Well, guys, Wassers were $800 when this started. Okay, maybe $750, and now they're over $1,000. I don't care if it was the last gun on the planet. I wouldn't pay over $1,000 for a Wasser. The Arsenal is got better fit and finish. Arguably, definitely smoother. Will it last any longer than a Wasser? Probably not. But just a better all-around rifle, in my opinion. And it doesn't sound like a Wasser. Plus, you get military-grade hardware versus the crap wood that Century puts on the wall. And the price difference isn't crap anymore. I'd just buy the Arsenal or the ZPAP if I had to buy a new gun. American-made guns, I have shot them. I don't own any. Either we're talking about Palmetto here or Kalashnikov USA. Now, I will tell you right now, hands down, I would buy a Kalashnikov USA. What is it? Their 103 that came out or whatever. Their 7.62 fixed stock gun. I would buy that gun, no problem. Matter of fact, imports are always going to be my preference because they're the real deal. In my book, Kalashnikov USA is the real deal in a lot of ways. It's not proven, but there's smoke, and where there's smoke, there's fire. That there's connections to Russia there. They do have the blueprints, the real blueprints, versus this part, really awesome. The shotguns are nice. They just do a really nice job. If I were a betting man, I'd probably bet that they had something to do with the with Kalashnikov concern. Somewhere there's probably some companies that things get looped through and all, but I'd bet there's a connection there. And a lot of guys will argue differently, but I've talked to a few people that know way more about AKs and the AK business than all of us combined. And that's what I get from them. So, and trust me, you probably know who I'm talking about. Yeah. Anyhow. So, yeah. Arsenal or the Yugo. Now, if it's a fighting rifle, and I can only have one ZPAP versus the Arsenal stamped, I'd probably take the Arsenal. Again, only because there's more choice in the aftermarket. But there's enough aftermarket for the Yugo too. If you guys have seen my NPAP, I got that thing all tricked out. Yeah, it'd be a tough call. Maybe I'd take the ZPAP. Be a tough call. I'm about even on either one. But yeah. Now, if you bring the secondary used market into it, there's still Vepers out there. Kavar puts some up for auction occasionally on Gunbroker, brand new in the box. There's a lot of guys that have some brand new in the box, some used. They bring a lot of money. Yes, they do. I see some guys asking $4,500. Do they get it? No. Will they get 2,500 out of one? Absolutely. Is it worth 2,500? Quality-wise, the Vepr is the best stamped gun out there, period. I'll say it. That's what I think. Heavy duty, yeah, it's a little heavier. I've never noticed a difference on Bulge Trunnion gun. Ask all the guys that fought in the civil wars for Serbia, the Yugo stuff. They've carried Bulge Trunnion heavy barrel guns forever. Didn't bother anybody. Your arms will get stronger. Better gun, hold up longer, great weapon. Vepr is awesome. I don't have a big hard-on for Chinese guns. They don't float my boat. I like my Bakelite side folder because it was my dad's and the story and all. And I love Bakelite, so it's cool. But would I go out of my way? You notice I don't own a second Chinese rifle. So I don't care for them. Pre-ban, big deal. Don't care. I don't like yellow wood. Number one. Number two, the bluing's pretty. It's pretty to look at, but it doesn't hold up worth a shit. Good gun. Good gun. They'll last with anything. Nothing as far as reliability and how long they'll last and all. No, great rifle. Nothing wrong there. If you got one, great. But a lot of money for what they are these days. That's the other problem with them. Any Yugo gun on the secondary market? Absolutely. Great stuff. Even an NPAP, great gun. My rifle that I train with and practice with is always with me. So if I stop at the range, I can blast 500 through it, is my NPAP. I bought it because at the time they were plentiful, they were everywhere, and they were cheap. I could get an NPAP brand new in the box left over for $500. And I put all my crap on it that I like to make it comfortable for me for a fighting rifle. I run it with a 3-power prism scope. I've got my not ALG. What's the handguard I use? The billet aluminum handguard, the M-Lock Kyber custom cheese grater top on it. My favorite mag pull grip, which is a K grip. And not the mushy rubbery one, the hard one, but a K grip. Nice, thick, perfect. And I run it with a Mission First Tactical stock, not the, it's called the Core. It's not the Minimalist, with a riser on it. It's just how it worked out. I wish I didn't have to run the riser, but with the scope I use on that thing, I have to. It's 3-power, so I can still use it for CQB, still shoot both eyes open. Once you get used to it, is me jump out there, just the sight. The older I get, my eyes aren't as good, but I can hit out to 300, no problem with that rifle. Run a BD2 muzzle brake on it, no recoil at all. I've got an ALG trigger in it and spring. And to tell you the truth, I wouldn't have went to the ALG recoil spring if there hadn't been a couple of reports out there about the receivers cracking. And frankly, I don't know that it was many of them, other than it just happened to happen on Rob Ski's channel. And I thought, well, better safe than sorry. I threw it in there. But the gun shot better, ran better, and just like the feel of the gun better with the super soft recoil springs that Yugos are known for and came with. And I would put it back in a minute and run it that way. And I probably should. I shouldn't give a shit. I should just run it. If it cracks, it cracks, right? Get another one. But yeah, when that thing happened on Rob's channel and that receiver got that little crack, everybody freaked out about ZPAPs, or about NPAPs, which was then the ZPAP, which then they moved it to a Bulge Trunnion, because the original ZPAPs, if you guys remember, were straight receivers. Anyhow, I run the piss out of that gun. Just run the piss out of it. It's had more paint jobs than Carter's got liver pills, and I stripped the paint off, and it's brand new under the gun. If I put it in the box, you guys, I might have to put a new fire control group in it because it shows the wear, but you guys couldn't tell it from new. The damn thing's so nice. And I painted up this camo, that camo, whatever. And it just runs and runs and runs and runs and runs some more. And fabulous gun. There's a lot of good stuff out there, guys. Get an import, get what you like, and they'll all outshoot you and outlast you. Your kids will be getting them. My son will be getting them, and they'll still be running, and they still won't be shot out. And I got into it on another guy's channel about steel case. Don't run steel case through your AR. You'll burn out your barrel in 3,000 rounds. Trust me, I've seen it. I know. You are so full of shit. You don't know what you're talking about. Anyways, yeah, shoot it out. Are you kidding me? 10,000, 15,000, 18,000 rounds. Thing's still shooting 2 MOA. No problem. This guy's going to say they burned out barrels on an AR in 3,000 rounds. Oh, man. Comments move quick. Let's see if I can get back in here, guys. And then we'll say goodnight. Let's see. Buyers will be at prices below spot. We talked about that. Lots of changes. I unloaded weapon and wife took it to trailer, and when we got there, a couple of young guys and an old man were waiting. Come to find out, their dad had lost $1,000 day before, and they wondered if word of. Okay, so you unloaded the gun, and the wife took it back to your trailer. And when you got there, a couple of younger guys and an old man were waiting. Come to find out, their dad had lost $1,000 the day before. So they got their gun back? Let's see. One more comment. Wondered if word of came in. When I dug it out, the old guy had tears in his eyes when I gave it to him. He had been an instructor at Camp Perry for many years. He thinks he must have put it on the roof or bumper before heading home. Personally have had a few and disliked every damn grands. It is already too damn late. Changes of drastic consequences to freedom and liberty in the future. Yes, I agree, Michael. I agree. Boy, you did a great thing, though. Think about how much that rifle meant to that guy. You know, everybody's probably got a rifle like that, or a shotgun or something, you know. But you did the right thing, and that's what good people do. Brass Tard. As collectible, I like the SKS way more than AKs. They are 100% original military rifles. Pretty much all the AKs in U.S. are neutered in one way or another and are not true surplus. You are absolutely correct. Because, guys, for those of you that aren't AK guys and don't know, to come in, when they come in here, most of them will be shipped over with either like a piece of plywood for a stock. Just it has to act like a stock to pass into the country. But all new furniture is put on them here. Most or all have to have the mag wells opened up from a single stack mag to a double stack mag. Fire control groups have to be replaced because of 922R US made parts. So they'll pick maybe a mag floor plate, a mag spring, a fire control group, a muzzle brake, of this or that. They're not true. They are not. No matter what anybody tells you. Yeah, they're much better than they used to be, and they're more pretty much original layout when they're done, but it's not done at the factory. So there's that. So I get your point on the SKS. Yeah, because they don't fall under that. They only hold 10 rounds. so they don't come under the same scrutiny as other imports. And they are just like they were when they came in. Did you see my video on the SKSs? I've got a Norinco, a Tula Russian, and a Yugo. And I did a video on the three of them. I should do individual videos on them. They're all very nice, very interesting in their own ways, and each has a little bit different trait to it, and they're nice. Yeah, and boy, the values have shot up a little bit on those, huh? The Russians are a nice one. I have the original. You remember when the Russian one, Tulas, came in, and they had the brown cardboard boxes with the red Russian star and Russian whatever rifle way with that box. I always thought the box was kind of cool, and I have that box. That rifle came from my dad too, and it's never been fired. It's complete refurb, unfired, beautiful, beautiful, perfect gun. Let's see. Snow, great ending. Yeah. One of my favorite AKs was the Velmet. Yeah, for mine too. I want the one with the tube stock and the flat butt plate. I like that gun for some reason. Probably because it's so damn rare. But I would love to have a Velmet. That would be so cool. That's one of those dream guns. Not that that's a fighting rifle or anything, but just one I want in my collection. One I've always wanted to shoot so bad. I don't even know if I've seen one in person. I've seen Misha's over on his channel. He's got some beautiful ones. Hey, here he is, the man himself, the man, the myth, the legend, 2AEDU. For you new guys here, Michael, if you like my channel and just hearing a little bit you had to say here, go over to 2AEDU's channel, man. This guy is the hardest working Second Amendment guy around. He makes so much sense. He puts it all together so much better than I do. I have a hard time getting across what's up here, getting it out here, and he does a fabulous job. He truly works hard at it, along with another job where he's doing physical labor, but you will love his channel. He's on Friday nights, 8:30 Central. I don't know. I screw it up every week, but Michael Chaddick, go over there and check him out. Who else should I recommend to go over there? Because there's a couple new guys tonight. Whoever's new here, go over there and check it out. He has a great, great channel. And he's doing everything right to help all of us, And if all of you can take a little bit of his gumption, of his get up and go out and do it in your area, get involved. Get out there, put the push on, get involved, whether it's a rally, a protest, or working with a government official. Do it, man. He's got it down. And if you ever needed any advice, I'm sure he'd be happy to give it to you, how to get started. You'll catch enough info just being over there and listening. But yeah, I was hoping he'd show up. I probably put this on tonight when somebody else had a stream going, right? I'll bet, because it was super light here tonight. Not that it's heavy. I'm not a big shot like some of these guys, but man, it was like 10-15 all night. I don't know. I was hoping I'd get into the 20s, but man, have I been rambling. 3 hours. All right, guys. I'm sorry, God, my favorite guy came over, and now I'm going to cut him off here. And we were talking AKs tonight, too. Just going through kind of how I got into them, my first couple rifles and a couple that meant something to me, and a little bit about what I would maybe buy today. But, yeah, if you want to talk AKs, 2AEDU, I got a sneaking suspicion that his collection would put mine to shame. I'm just thinking. I don't know. Although I got some neat stuff that I don't put out there, but yeah, you can just tell, when you're into something, you can like, I smell it. There's more there. He's got some nice stuff, and I wish he had. I never got into kits, and I'm pretty sure he did, but I wish I had a bunch of kits put away right now, and I could be building. Maybe I'll buy a few, but they're just so damn expensive now. But there are a few I got to buy anyways, just because there's certain guns I want that I can't get any other way, and I got to get into that. So, Orion Fixer, LOL, geez, have a bunch of editing to do still. We do a couple hour recording session, and I will pull 6 or 7 videos out of it. Yeah, isn't that nice when you can do that? We're talking YouTube stuff, guys. Now you go to, the days of going to the range and enjoying myself are kind of over. It's like now I gotta lug along all this camera crap, and of course you got to make the range trip count, right? So if I can get footage of this gun, and well, people have been asking for that, a video on that gun, so I'll bring that gun, and we'll get some footage for that. And I had meant to do a comparison on this, so I'll bring that gun. And by the time you get there and set up and start doing the one, and oh crap, I want to get footage for this and that, and you can never just go and have fun, Sometimes I just want to leave the camera at home and screw it. And then you say, especially now with the cost of ammo and stuff, and wondering if you can replace it, you don't want to waste that ammo. So you feel like you should record it, And yeah, it's just hard. It's different. 2A knows what I'm talking about. It's you got to make very good use of and it's nice when you can get out there. Me and my son did it the other day really well. And I'll let you in on a little secret. Maybe I wasn't going to say anything because maybe the viewer can go look at it and go, oh, well, it's not that great a video because I know how he did it. But you can, if you do it right, you can go to the range, depending what you're doing. If you're doing a test, where you put a lot of rounds through a gun, like a 5,000 round test, well, that's different. But if you're just, doing an unboxing and you want to show the gun and a few action shots, you can take 3-4 rifles with you. I could probably do it on as little as, I don't know, 30 rounds, maybe 40 rounds each. And I could shoot. Well, we went out, we brought my VR80 shotgun, that Arsenal 5.56 gun, the 5.7 Ruger pistol, and what else? There was one other one. Can't remember what the hell it was. Anyways, brought those 4 guns, and we got out there late. Now it gets dark early, right? And we got enough footage of all of them to get 4 videos out of it. And I was at the range a whopping total of, it was under 45 minutes. And I used less than, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, under 100 rounds of ammo, I think. Something like that. Maybe 130. I don't know. Right in there. So, and he helped, he filmed, or I filmed him, and back and forth. You'll see my son on the channel a little bit, next couple of videos. He was in that 5.7 video, and you guys saw him pop in here tonight. He didn't know I was doing a stream. But I may get him in there. You know what? Politically speaking, it might be neat to get his views as a younger kid. Not younger, he's 22 now, 21. But just out of college and been through the college experience recently. Been in the Army. It might be neat to get his opinion on some stuff and get him in a video here. And see. But yeah, it's easy when you're working with somebody. I wish I had a cameraman. That makes things so much easier. Let's go over to comments here. I'm only doing this for you to AEDU. I'm letting you. I'm dragging it out here so you can be in here for a little while and have a little fun. You need an assistant. Yes, I do. That's what I got him for. But he's also got a hot new girlfriend too. So his time is spread thin. I don't blame him. Let me tell you. I will do some shooting, recording tomorrow. Tonight was me in is that California? Oh, okay. You had a hottie too tonight, huh? Yeah. She's a nice girl. Awesome. She's going to have a great channel too. Orient Fixer, I actually do. No joke, too bad. It doesn't pay enough to hire one. Yeah, right? I shot that Ethiopian carbine. I got with 60 grain charge of Pyrodex and 305 grain bullet. Man, oh man, that light thing packs a wallop. Huge flash, cloud of smoke and kick. Yeah, right? The lighter they are, the more they'll hammer you. Never fails. How many grains you put in that thing? Where was it? 60 grains. I did. That's what I run. 60 grains in my 50 caliber Thompson Center. It's called it's essentially a Hawken. I love shooting that, but I do a flintlock. I just like it. I think if you're going to be original, why not be go all the way back, right? I'm looking at mine now. I don't have any ammo and don't know how to even think about making it. What are these things? Ethiopian, is that grass carbine? So obviously they were black powder, but more like a Civil War type of rifle, like newer, like 1800s maybe? What? I need to get a sizer and squeeze the bullets from 455 to 452 so rounds will fit easy in the chamber. A bit too hard to chamber smoothly. I'll have to look those guns up. I don't know, but that sounds neat. Military black powder. That'd be fun. God, I love both, so why not? Orient Fixer. I appreciate it. Off season and spending a lot of time on my channels. Hey, yeah, you are. Pretty soon you'll be sweating your nuts off and riding that mower, bouncing around like crazy, right? I should just sell my mower and use the money I get to have somebody do it all the time. I got an X-Mark. You ever hear X-Marks? Nice mower. I like it. Life got a lot easier when I got that. Hanging out with a couple of my buds from back in the day. Cool. About case ammunition, artifacts for $50. Rockford, I'm pretty close to you. Just saying. Oh, I keep telling you, you want to go shooting, let me know. We can go on a Wednesday or a Sunday. I could come down and be in the across the commie border. How's that sound? 762, if you make some more, let me know. You guys are the most interesting here. No, I shouldn't say that. Everybody was interesting tonight. Early single shot bolt action, but black powder, huh? So a cartridge, obviously. Right? Oh, you're making the cartridges. I get it. Because then it has to be chambered. So it's a black powder cartridge, and you're loading it up. Buds for bastard, meaning. Okay. Well, I keep telling Orient Fixer to let me know, and we'll go out and have a bunch of fun at the range out here. Yeah, we'll head down out toward, well, it's even west of Rockford. So if you want to go, let me know, and we'll go. Mine is a chase pod converted to grass, and thus had a weird chamber and bore compared to standard. That's an interesting stuff. You know what I haven't done in forever is take the Mosins out. Maybe a Mosin Nagant Fest. Shoot for a little accuracy with a 9130. break out the 38 for just goofing around. And then as it gets close to dark, we'll haul out the M44 for some 4-foot fireballs with some silver tip Yugo ammo. I still got a ton of silver tip Yugo laying around. Crates and crates from back in the day. Bought it cheap. And then I dumped them all like a hot potato and went for the AKs. I just moved up in year, right? Went through the Mosins and then did a lot of SKS for a while and then into the AKs. I just followed the standard military progression. That's all. Mine had dual markings in the mass. 446 is normal. Oh, you guys are going way down a rabbit hole on this stuff now. Measuring all kinds of crap and squeezing it. What do we got? What time is it? If you guys want to hang on, I'll stay on. I don't care. I just got to take a break for 2 minutes. I'll let it go. If you guys are here when I get back, I'll talk a little more and you guys can continue to talk. And we'll talk about maybe some Mosins in a minute. Be right back. All right, we are back. You guys still here? Oh, we're talking. I haven't talked about Mosins in so long, other than I can't believe what prices are doing on them. Actually, they kind of jumped up there and then they kind of leveled off and have been there for quite a while. You know, I'm sure back when 2A was buying them too. I don't know how cheap you got in, but I got in when I first bought my first one, they were $69. I bought a bunch at that price. I remember when they went to $99, I was pissed. $99 for a Mosin. What are you, out of your minds? And yeah, but I had a buddy that worked at the local sporting goods store and they had them and they'd buy them. He took me in the back room, right? He says, all right, you're a good customer, and we'd shoot the bull. And he liked me. And he said, all right, I'm going to do this for you. Come on, follow me. We go in the back room. He's like, there they are. And I'm like, you know, the angels singing, and there's, I don't know how many, 500, 800, 1,000 boxes, all with a Mosin in them, you know. And he would let me back there. He'd be out working the counter. Sometimes he'd come back, and I could go through them one box at a time and find what I wanted. So I've got and I got weird. You guys, there'd be stuff that I passed over that you would have been like, oh my God, why didn't you take that one? But, I went through a phase where all I wanted was X snipers. Everybody wanted 44s, and I got some M38s. There were I got a Finnish gun out of it. This was back early on when Finnish guns would get mixed in and the importer didn't know, or they just missed them, whoever was going through them. They didn't know what they were, or there'd be a Dragoon or something like that. And they didn't even have any clue. And, I got to go through and grab them. But hex receivers, there were a ton. And I got a few of them still. I got a bunch I haven't even opened up. They're brand new. Oh, well, not brand new, but still in the box. I saw them when I bought them, put them in the box, put them away, and they haven't been out since. Still in the Cosmoline. How's that sound? But one of these days I got to pull them out, but they're not bringing enough money yet. They kind of all went up in that, a basic, decent Mosin's what, 300, 325, 350 maybe. X Snipers bringing what now? Maybe 450. I don't know. I don't pay much attention. Some of the stuff, different years, hex receivers, older stuff is probably bringing in that range, right? And I don't know. I haven't looked into them. Anyhow, yeah, God, that was some fun stuff. He eventually left there. I think he lost his job there, and I often wondered if it was because somebody found out they let me back there to look through all these guns. But he was working at another shop in town then. He would have said, hey, I got in trouble for that or whatever. But I didn't push it. He offered. So, hey. As my assistant. Okay, Lord knows I can't afford the ammo to go shoot. Dude, you want to go shoot? I'll take care of the ammo. Don't worry about it. Not a big deal. Come shoot all you want. Bring what you got. I got plenty of ammo. We don't worry about ammo. Let's see. What else we got here? God, it's hard to follow these comments. 280 EDU is laughing, and mine aren't even moving. His are like screaming by Ethiopian interest. Mine. Berdan, as in Berdan primer? Or is that a type of that rifle you're talking about? I could talk about Mosins for months. I have been collecting them for a long time. I have a few interesting variants. There's around two, but they raise the price. So what's your favorite Mosin you have? Is it like a certain model or year or what? Many fin models and fin captures. Mine are fin captures. When I said fin, that's what I meant. Finnish M39s. Yep. Built on antique receiver. Yeah, I got a couple. There's some valuable models that almost nobody even knows exist too. Yeah, you're right. My most valuable is probably worth $3,000 right now. What is it? Shit. If they're worth it, I may have one if because I got some wild stuff. I love the I like M39s too. The Finns are amazing what they did, right? With those rifles. I mean, incredible. They make some fabulous. Look at the Valmets. That's a magnificent weapon. M62. Need to educate him on an 18. Yeah, you do. You do. I don't. That's another thing I got to get that I've been saying for years is I want to get I haven't decided what model exactly, but a Winchester lever action 1800s gun. I'd like one that I could use. Well, I'd kind of do two separate. I want one for cowboy action shooting, but I also want just I want a Trumbull is what I want. I want one that's been, if you guys have ever heard of a guy named Trumbull, Trumbull, he restores old lever action guns, and not just lever action. I think he does pistols too, but cowboy stuff, and he'll take an old rusty Winchester lever action, or I think he even does some case hardening and the bluing. He'll do charcoal bluing that, if you've ever seen that, it's just stunning, right? And the wood, and you essentially get a brand new old rifle back. And some guys, that's just not right. That's ruining the collectability, or the taking away the patina, the history, the this, the that. Yes, I can see that. But when you do it to his level of artistry, it's just absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. And in no way, shape, or form do I consider that wrecking a historical piece, and for the most part, most of these guns that he's redoing are not the most perfect examples anyways, but really nice. I like my M91 38 carbine. Yep, I do too. That's you're saying just a M38, right? Or is it a M91 cut back to? No. Are 38s that rare? Because I got I got to think now if I get sold any. I got more than two, less than six. Put it that way. And actually, and one I gave to my dad. But I like that rifle. It's essentially the same length as a 44. Wonderful guns, especially if you got the original stock without the cutout for the bayonet, because a lot of them will be in M44 stocks. They just got replaced, over when they got re-arsenaled and stuff. M1907 carbine is also very rare. 1907 card, but you see, like everything. Do you have an 88? Totally different. I got M38s. Yeah. That's what I said. Did 38s, were they 91 9130s that were cut back, or what were they? M38 is not too rare, right? I'm talking about something totally different. Yeah, 9130 59s being sold as M38s. Yeah, and that's what I'm talking about. Early on, when they first came in and you were seeing them for $69, there were all kinds of stuff being sold wrong. They didn't know what they were, what they had. The importer didn't even know. They were just boxing them up. And that's when guys would walk in. You'd walk into the store and they'd have 5 or 6 on the rack, right? They may have had 800 guns back in the storage area, but they'd have 5 or 6 on the rack, and you'd walk in and you'd go, oh my God, it's sitting there. And they're all marked $69, right? And you'd go, can I see the second one from the left? And you'd pull it down and there's a fin gun. And you go, I'll take this one. All right, let me go get you one from the back. No, I want this one right here. Oh, okay. That kind of thing. That went on all the time. Okay, more complicated than that. We're going to have, you know what? We got to do a little project here, me and you. And be awesome. You could teach me a ton. I would love to see some of this rare stuff. As I started getting deeper into it, I was buying volume then, except for a few things that I knew about. It was volume. And then Then I started reading, and then the AK bug hit, and I dropped it all like a rock. The 9138 was a Czech clandestine Mosin. It's rather, wow. You know what? I'm gonna have to break out a book and read. But yeah, it'd be fun for me and you to do a little video or something one of these days if you're up for it. And whatever. AKs, Mosins, AKs, who knows? I like SKSs too, all of it. It's all so much fun. God, too bad no more guns on live streams, right? God, can you imagine? Because then you can go through it and guys can ask questions in real time and you're showing them and, oh, look here and see how this bolt's different and whatever. And you can show the markings and all of that. That sucks. Just sucks. There's got to be other places you can go and do streams, though, but then who's going to follow you over there? And then, that's the only problem. Who knows? Maybe, hey, can we wish that maybe all this First Amendment being slammed, having the door slammed on us, could maybe at some point cause some legislation to turn things around where, maybe one day in the not too distant future, YouTube is free America once again. And it goes back to what it can't, or becomes what it should have been in the first place, where you can do and say and everything. I get why they don't. I get one reason why they don't want firearms on. They think somebody might live broadcast something bad, but okay, there's ways around that too. Put a delay on the thing or something. I don't know. I'm sure they can also tell normal people from people that are beside themselves, let's say. But I get it too. They can't monitor everything all the time, although they sure seem to monitor us, right? Too bad no more guns. Yeah, it's crap. I used to show them. I remember back in the good old days, 2A, what, 8 months ago? I don't know. But when he had guys, so it's he used to have, I don't know, when he started, I remember nights 15, 20, 25 guys in the stream. And God, it seems like overnight he just blew the friggin' lid off it. And but those were fun back then. I remember the first time you did one without it, and when it all came down, and that just sucked because we were, it was normal. He'd get on and he'd be showing his Yugo or something, and check this out, or look what I got today, and and we'd all get in commenting, and then all of a sudden when that shit came down the pipe, and they said no more guns on the live streams. That first one was horrible. It was like, and nobody knew what was going to happen. We were all like, well, is this going to work? Is everybody going to hang around here and just listen to one guy babble? Like I've been doing for 3 hours and 31 minutes and 13 seconds. Nobody knew, but it's the chat that really keeps things going. It's you guys. It's you guys that make it. Like a YouTube policy will stop a crazy person, right? Yeah. Tap, rack, and roll. What's up, girl? She made it over here. She promised she'd make it. I had to stay on for almost 4 hours for her to show up. 4 hours. My ass hurts already. This is terrible. And I had to go upstairs and get more coffee, but who cares? The only reason I stayed on was because 2A showed up. I was about to throw in the towel, but I'm doing it for him. You know why? Because he does so many of these things and all, and he's constantly doing what I'm doing right now and not able to get into the stream. I mean, you can follow along, but he'll testify to the fact it's hard to keep up with it. And so you're not having as much fun as just being part of the chat, you know. Oh, dude, that's like the second time I got on when you got on or something, or I don't know if we overlapped there, but didn't that happen last time I did one, or no? No, somebody else was, or no, it was it the week of Christmas or something? And I had off and I didn't realize it was like Friday or something. I thought it was Thursday, and I'm like, doing my thing. I'm like, wait, whatever. Anyhow, there are already laws. YouTube acts like yeah, I know about the laws. Yes, they do act like a publisher instead of a platform. If you're going to be a platform, be a platform. But the minute you start, getting involved in suppressing things or pushing your ideas and your rules and stopping people from saying what they want to say, you are now an editor, a publisher, and you no longer are granted the safeties that law applies. It's just a bunch of crap, and it needs to go. And had we had another 4 years, we probably could have gotten that taken care of. But right now, lots of luck. Lots of luck. I don't think you're going to see it. So, man, we got the whole gang here. I was babbling so much about AKs and mostly kind of storytelling about the good old days and what they used to cost compared to now. And, God, now what? A Wasser's over $1,000 if you can find one. A Wasser at $1,000. I bought my last Wasser for $299. $299. $1,000. Never in a million lifetimes did I think that would happen. Then again, I didn't think $700 Wassers would happen, but hey, whatever. They all go up. That's a good thing, I guess, but I'm never selling mine, so what good would it do? Let's see. Oh, you recorded videos, other channel. Oh, cool. That'll be exciting. That'll be cool to see. Michael, what I would like to see and hear about are the weapons classified as curio and relic. Well, that's pretty much what TE80U and Brastard here were talking about with their 1800s. What'd you call them? A grass powder cartridge rifles. Turn of the century, I guess you'd say, right? Think about this one, guys. Early Colt AR, the first sporters. So the early, and I could grab one of those right now and show you a serial number under 10,000.
I didn't get that.
Shut up, Siri. I'm going to shut this damn thing off. They're listening in too. Got everybody listening in to you. But wouldn't it be nice right now if I could grab my Colt Sporter here, my original preban Sporter serial number under 10,000, and go, here, guys, look, this is about to be a CNR rifle, believe it or not. It's just about to hit it. I think another, a year or two, maybe? Amazing. Who would have thunk it? I've had that rifle since I can't ever remember a time without that rifle. That rifle has been in my bedroom since I was, holy cow, maybe 8 or 9 years old. I've had that. I'm giving away my age now. Holy Christ. I've had that rifle. I bet it's coming up on 50 years, 45 years. I've had that rifle. Man, yeah, it's going to be CNR eligible. So, some guys, big thing in Mosin collecting, Mosin Nagants, guys used to get their CNR license so they could get them direct, sent right to the house. And that was a big deal, And I don't know. I guess. I think maybe you save the transfer money or something and, when you're buying $69 rifles, I guess back then it was $8 or $10 probably. I don't know. Saving that money was a big deal. Those were rifles for cheap bastards. That's what those were, Mosin Nagants. Cheap bastards bought those rifles. Cheap bastards and crazy price. 1890. Oh, the ones you're talking about were antique. I didn't know how far back the CNRs went. So CNR is newer than 1898, and it's got to be what, 40 years old, something like that? Something like that, I believe. Somebody correct me. Yeah. Nope, the Republicans had the government for 2 whole years and did nothing. Yes, you were correct. They did absolutely nothing. Hey, we built a wall. Give me that shit. Got what, 17 miles done and other stuff? What else did we do? I don't know. There was some stuff done, but I know what you mean. As far as Second Amendment, yeah, did nothing. Well, we damaged it. Not we. We shouldn't say we, Mr. Trump. Mr. Trump damaged it. And I don't know. I don't want to jump back on the political stuff. 280, you got to miss all that, what we were talking about. But I did. I'll bring up one thing. We were talking about whether or not he lit the fuse on that whole stuff. And I was at the doctor's office when it all went down. I'll just revisit it real quick here. And I heard him giving a speech. And then he said, we're going down to the Capitol here. And the way I heard it and said it, now didn't know what was coming, right? So I'm not looking for anything. But certainly if something was kind of had a little edge to it, I would have picked it up. But to me, it just sounded like, hey, guys, I'm going to jump in the beast here, and we're going to go here, and you guys come on down and follow, and we'll see you there in a few minutes kind of deal. Like you're out with your buddies and you're going to the next bar kind of thing is how it kind of sounded to me. And I didn't see anything inflammatory about it, nothing. And, of course, now it's all blown out of proportion and all. And I think, let's say, even if he did want to get the crowd going a bit or, for his speech or whatever, I don't think in a million years he thought that it would lead to that. Hell, I didn't think it would lead to that. But then again, like I said, those people at the front that you saw breaking the windows and the ones with the black knee pads and black helmets and black backpacks and handcuffs and crowbars and all that, those were others. So they were not his normal supporters. That's not to say they didn't follow. They certainly did, and that's just mob mentality, how it works. But even think about those guys. How stupid are you? You're going to get a felony on your record, and think about what that does. God, that killed me. Couldn't do it. Anyways, we used to get AK dollars. What do you mean AK dollars? Okay, back to vids. Have a great stream. So you guys just stop in for 2 minutes and you leave? Well, that's a bunch of crap. No, you guys have a good night. Appreciate you stopping in. Thank you so much. And with that, guys, I am going to call it a night too, man. 4 hours. It went fast. If you haven't given it a thumbs up, please do. Check out our videos. I put out another one right before the stream. Actually, I dropped a video. What the heck was it? I don't even remember. It's late. It was on our VR80 shotgun and cleaning it and taking the bolt apart and stuff. Check it out. Interesting shotgun. We got a whole series on those. Check it out. I think you may like it. It's a great shotgun. Runs awesome. But thanks for coming tonight, guys. Appreciate all of you stopping in. And hope to see you soon. I gotta start these a little earlier next time because it's tired by the end of the day. I sound like I'm half dead right now, but I'm not. So thanks again. Appreciate it. And we'll catch you in the next video. And we'll catch you next week on Wednesday night. I will try instead of 8:30 to get this thing going at 7:30. How's that sound? And we will talk to you soon. Have a great night. Hang in there. You know, it's not inauguration day yet. Something, anything, who knows? Maybe God works in mysterious ways, right? Maybe we can hold out our hopes and we'll go, yeah, it does the marathon. Somehow it's going to screw up my channel for having too few people watching for too long. Who knows? If I know my luck, that's what'll happen. Anyhow, just keep the faith, guys. We'll see what happens here. It's not over till it's over, and we got a long time to keep fighting, and just got to work hard. Nothing good comes without hard work. So hang in there, guys. And as always, Rockford Ordnance out.